go. Hello and welcome everybody to the finals of Minnesota LCS Spring Split, but more importantly, the finals of our Season 1 production. Yeah, you heard it right here. It's been a full year now, 2 splits and a full year of school under our belts. Two teams going at it against each other in the finals. One of the most hyped matches, the one we've all been talking about. Ganked by Gophers against the Mavericks. I am Steve Sir Bucket Kangas. Joining me on the Casters Desk tonight is Donovan Fay. How's it going, Don?
I'm doing very well, and it's going to be an amazing finals. We have Mankato versus the UMN Ganked by Gophers, the top 2 teams in the last time we saw them play off. And ended up being Ganked by Gophers winning. But I have a strong feeling that Mankato can easily turn this around for themselves.
And we're going to see that actually pretty soon here. The players are ready to go. I'm ready to go. Maybe it was a cup of coffee I had. Maybe it was that third scoop of pre-workout. But I honestly think it's just jitters for this match. You just said it yourself. Both of these teams, without a doubt, top of the
Them with that shifter build with the Hextech Gunblade and Lichbane. I wouldn't be surprised that's banned out right away to go against Gigabytes, who has shown a lot of success, and there it is.
Yeah, Gigabyte got a double kill on this champion last time he played against Ganked by Gophers, so it makes sense to take that away. Ash is the immediate response from Mavericks, but there is something interesting to talk about with the pick and ban here, because Ganked by Gophers, for their first game, they're opting to have a substitute mid laner here. So it's going to be Ernst in the mid lane instead of Whitty Parker that we've all come to know and love. So that kind of changes around the pick and ban for Mavericks.
Okay, there's one thing I really want to look at here. The fact that they banned Karma and Lulu, 2 very powerful supports. The next one that's going to be up is most likely going to be Nami, and then maybe a tank support such as Braum. Or we may see something like Thresh come out. But they decided to pick Caitlyn as a first pick and leave Ivern open, which we see Mankato opting for right now if it's going to be locked in. Why would you leave Ivern open in favor of Caitlyn, an AD carry who, while, yes, is very strong in the lane, can easily be outdueled by people such as Ezreal and Lucian if they're allowed to all in?
And I think this is the first time that we're seeing under 50% play Ivern. It's been banned against him every single game this entire split. He has not had a chance to pick up that champion once, but this is his opportunity to shine, show us what he can do. And Ezreal picked up for the AD carry. Wicklebear, he's shown also how good he is. So this is 2 not only strong meta picks, but strong comfort picks for the side of Mankato. And that is really tough to play into.
Yeah, that's exactly true. And we do have that Ezreal locked in against the Caitlyn, as you mentioned. We also have Lee Sin to try and counter this Ivern. Lee Sin can be good just because you can invade the Ivern really early on and try and harass him. But I feel like something like Graves could have been maybe a little bit better, unless if you're looking to go for much more of a pick composition rather than a teamfight composition. As for the support, it looks like they're going to go with Thresh, seeing that the only other support that's really viable right now being Nami. Thresh is the obvious counter, Nami being an all-in support that works very well with Ignite, and it's going to put a lot of lane pressure here, mixing with that Caitlyn and her cupcake traps.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that they did ban out those 2 highly prioritized supports. You would expect that maybe they would pick up the Nami instead. I thought initially that that's what they were going to do, but it makes sense. You take the Thresh, because now maybe Mavericks, they don't even want to pick up the Nami potentially. So what are they going to opt into that support position? We actually have to wait a little bit to find out, because they're showing their mid laner blind right now, picking up the Ahri.
Yeah, now we're going to be going in the second phase of the bans. Not really sure what they're going to go with right now. They have it where what's not picked is top and mid lane. For the side of Ganked by Gophers, they could look to ban out something such as Syndra, who could be really good against the Ahri, or even Orianna, who can harass our Ahri really early on. Looks like they're going to ban Nautilus instead.
Oh, and Nami's taken off the table also. That is the 3 most highly prioritized supports not available to be picked up for the side of Mavericks here. So the champion pool is very low for support here. Maybe we'll see something a little different. I mean, I can't remember a game that we haven't seen one of those 3 champions played. Maybe we'll get something fun. Maybe like the Bard. I love those more flashy supports. Maybe Rakan. Maybe it's something new and fresh.
One thing I could see actually get picked up right now, though. Okay, there is a Cinder ban to make it so that they can't pick it into the Ari, but they have one final ban for the side of Games by Gophers. Right now, it's going to have to be a ban either or focus on the top lane or yet another support. I could see them also banning Janna to get rid of all Pule supports altogether. If they want to go for that, it'd be a very risky thing to do.
They've committed this much, right? Like,
Yeah.
They just got to all in on the support. But no, they're taking away one of the top laners that feels Batman has been strong on. But the question is, he has the Renekton, he has the Kled, he has the Darius, champions that he feels very comfortable on. And honestly, I don't know if Fiora was the best choice, but this is Ganked by Gophers respecting that pick in particular, saying we don't want to deal with that. But talking about heal supports that make it really hard to kill the AD carry, Tarek's got to be one of the top.
Yeah, and that's where you honestly have to look at it. The way that they've been banning out, it looks like they want to go for that heavy all-in composition. They have the Thresh, at least in there, locking in the Renekton. They're looking for a Katarina too. You have an Ivern who can put a shield on whoever the focus is, being either the Ahri or the Ezreal. And then you have a Tarek who, while is being mitigated with shields and heals from Ivern and Tarek himself, can be dropping down his ultimate and give his team a full invulnerability against its all-in composition. So it's really, you have to wonder the way that Games by Gophers wants to play this out, unless if they're looking for incredibly hard early game play to just snowball out of control with. But I feel like Mankato really is winning this draft phase.
Yeah, Renekton is taken away, but Batman getting his signature Darius. This is what I love to see, because whether he dominates lane or loses lane, he always finds a way to come back on this champion. He's played it so much and is so comfortable on it. But I just want to make a quick point about the bot lane for Mankato Mavericks. Everybody's so hyped on Rakan and Xayah right now, like, oh, the synergy's crazy, or oh, they're built for each other. Well, this is the OG built for each other bot lane. I mean, you can't get in the way of the romance between Ezreal and Tarek. Am I right, fans?
Yeah, I just realized actually we will be going with that, even though technically it's not canon with lore. Sadly,
you know what? I think that fan fiction fills that spot. It fills the missing spot of what would happen between Ezreal and Tarek.
Well, okay, we'll leave that for Rule 34. For now, we have to focus on this game, and let's talk about that final pick with the Darius into the Renekton. So it's an opted pick into a very aggressive early game champion with 2 dashes. So it's going to be something that can easily outplay the Darius, seeing as he is so reliant on the positioning of his enemies. Renekton can easily play around that with the slice and dice, and he can also use his ultimate to try and mitigate the damage that would be coming from Darius's Noxian Guillotine. So I really like this matchup, but I can also see it going either way if Feels Batman can play the sustain game really well, just because Darius has stronger burst sustain, while Renekton has easier access to his own sustain.
And the biggest thing with Darius is during those team fights, you got to be able to chain the dunk. If you can dunk and get kills onto each member of the enemy team, Darius can absolutely shred a team fight. And looking at the side of Ganked by Gophers, they really don't have that Karma. They don't have that Lulu, that support, or even the Ivern in the jungle that can keep those members alive. So they're really, like you said, an all-in composition. If they're playing from behind, it's going to be really difficult for them to make an impact into this team when there is the Ivern and the Tarek.
Yeah, and with that, I can feel like the moment everyone hits 2 or 3 items is going to become very hard for Games by Gophers to really do anything with this composition if they look for a full 5-on-5 fight style. But they could also go for something where they do the hard split push with Spliffy, trying to get him ahead on this Renekton to keep it so that Feels Batman will always be away and draw the attention of either Gigabytes or under 50% to make so that they can then look for an outnumbered 4v3 or even a 4v2, depending on how many people join up to try and play against Spliffy. Again, this is only if he gets ahead enough, which they will have to rely on that. They could even try and use Rift Herald, which sadly, until next split, this is the last time that we'll be seeing Rift Herald only give you a 1v1 damage buff. After this patch coming tomorrow, we'll be seeing our buddy actually joining us in the lanes, but we will not be seeing that in these games. And I'm just curious what Games by Gophers are thinking throughout this draft phase, because they left over in the Ivern, they left open so many good options, such as the Ahri for the early pick. Ahri can easily play against Katarina because he uses Charm the moment she goes to go all in. You can completely stop her ultimate with it. And it's just so much that's been left open. You can have Ezreal outpokes the Caitlyn with his Qs, the Terra can easily mitigate most of the all-in that will be coming in from a Thresh Caitlyn bot lane. Plus, if you're smart on Terra and know how to manage your mana, you can easily out-sustain the lane by putting 3 early points into your Q and not really caring about the points into your E, the stun, until later on.
I think this is just Ganked by Gophers playing a different game than most teams choose to play against Mankato. The general rule when people have played against this team in the past, played against the Mavericks, is you ban out Darius, you ban out Ivern, and then you ban out something else. But Ganked by Gophers are saying, look, we don't need to do that. I remember that last time they beat the Mavericks, they had also left open the Darius, which was a big question mark on the caster's brain when that was happening, and they still picked up the win. So I think this is clearly Ganked by Gophers having confidence, saying we don't need to beat them the way that other teams beat them because we play differently than the way that the other teams are. And we can see that a lot with their draft here. I mean, this composition really does. It says to me, we know what we're doing, and we're going to just try to dominate. I mean, again, if they get behind, it's going to be so hard for them to get back. There's not really a lot of scaling in their composition. Caitlyn can scale pretty well into the late game, but Katarina, she's pretty much just got to get ahead, or she just doesn't do much because she jumps into the enemy team. She can't kill when the Ivern and the Tark are there. Who's she going to get on? Maybe the Ahri? Maybe the Ezreal? But like, when is Tark not going to be with Ezreal? So it's going to be tricky for Ganked by Gophers to play this comp.
I actually just forgot something, and I'm actually extremely surprised that we forgot to mention this, but technically, they do have Ernst subbed in for the mid lane, and Ernst is Cat in the Hat from Season 1 being subbed in.
Yes,
so
he is.
The return, and the second time ever that I think he's actually been able to pick up Katarina, and this is during the finals, his signature champion that he has the most skill on. So maybe he will be able to outplay this Ahri in the mid lane against Gigabytes, and have a snowball for himself, or he might be able to pull off some split push pressure, work around the Tarek and the Ivern really well. We'll have yet to see that, but the biggest thing I want to look at is exactly how well this Ivern versus Lee Sin matchup is going to go, because Ivern is extremely good at the first camp counter jungle, just because as long as you know where the enemy jungler is, you can easily go to their opposing camp and steal it right away with the smite buff. There's literally no way to work around that. He just takes it. You have to deal with it. But
I want to make a quick point about Katarina, or explain Katarina, because you mentioned his name used to be Cat in the Hat from last split. Anybody who were fans in the fall that watched, he was on the Wombats team. He actually played a very similar role to that team that Winnie Parker has played for Ganked by Gophers this split, because people oftentimes ban Azir against Woody Parker, considering him an Azir one-trick, but he still shows up huge on other champions as well. Ernst had that kind of stigma against him before, where Katarina was perma-banned against them, which always left open more on the table. So I think, yeah, this might have just been, unfortunately, Mavericks, they didn't have their homework done, because this is a champion that you pretty much have to perma-ban against Ernst, or Cat in the Hat, as he used to be called. It's difficult when they don't have that long to kind of appropriate their drafts based on the news when they hear about these subs. We give them a 24-hour notice, but sometimes they don't get the message early enough. So I don't know what the thought was there, but I really like the pick for Ernst.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I feel like an Orianna may have been a little bit better, at least in this matchup, just because I feel like Katarina could easily be harassed early on by an Ahri. However, we have yet to see how this will play out, because the game hasn't even started. We are just going into it. And when it comes to the keystones, everything seems to be pretty much in order. The only thing that I'm actually going to look at right now is I am a very avid Tarek player, at least when I get supports. I either like to play Tarek, Thresh, or Nami. They are my best supports. With Tarek, from my experience, Windspeaker's Blessing is the much better option, because you have a heal and a shield in 2 of your basic abilities that are on relatively short cooldowns. As long as you can weave your auto attacks, you're also going to be building Redemption and Locket. So that's 4 things that Windspeaker's Blessing could all be benefiting your team with. And that is why I love to take it, rather than having the more selfish keystone with, I cannot remember its name. What is it?
Courage of the Colossus.
That's it. Thank you.
There we go. Come on. You're not a support man if you don't know that. But getting into this game, we have ganked by Gophers, Spliffy in the top lane, literally Potato in the jungle with Ernst subbing the mid lane, Never Vote Yes and Wiki on that bottom side. Now for the red side, give it up for Kato Mavericks. Feels Batman picking up Darius top lane under 50%. Finally giving us the Candy King Ivan jungle. Gigabyte mid with Wicklebear and Ransack Moose bottom. Already seeing some early game aggression from both teams, doing some sneaky invades here.
Now, this is actually the invades only coming in from Mankato, who are directly looking to see whether or not under 50% can steal the blue buff. They may go for an immediate steal. Normally, you would see an Ivern start up the take on his own red buff, then use the root collar in order to immediately jump to the blue buff. And actually, no, it does look like that's what they're going to be going with. They just wanted to get that ward immediately onto the blue buff to make sure literally Potato won't be anywhere near it to stop him from taking it. So he will be able to start the camp on his red, go over to the blue, root collar over the wall, immediately steal that blue, and then just simply walk back to his camps and take it as he pleases.
No, I don't think he will, because this is what Ganked by Gophers did. With that vision that they just gave, they saw that under 50% didn't come through to drop a ward on their red, so they know that he was dropping the ward on the blue. It's such an easy and predictable play that I think that they're just going to start literally Potato on that blue, and this is exactly what they're doing. They are spotted out, though, so under 50% will see it, but it does slow down the Ivern a bit.
Yeah, and actually with that, they do still have the vision, though, that literally Potato is going to be starting up there with Spliffy helping out, so they should expect the cheese is going to be happening bot lane. They have her both Caitlyn and Thresh worsening the brush, and they are spawning it out with plenty of aggression already.
There's that courage, Brock.
It did absolutely nothing, though. Come on. Caitlyn didn't auto him. Why would you auto the Tarek? He's strong against you.
Much. And feels Batman was trying to harass Potato and Spliffy on that top jungle. Didn't really get much for it, but now getting aggressive onto Spliffy. The Dreadnought Darius will be feared.
Dreadnova. It's Dreadnova game plank. Yeah.
Right. And now Ernst. Flashy games here with Gigabyte in the mid lane. Ari into Katarina, really fun matchup because they're both very highly skilled champions. Feels Batman getting that power spike on Spliffy, and Spliffy's just not getting any farm. He can't even walk to it.
Yeah, but already we can see literally Potato going in to try and take under 50% red buff. He's going to be dragging it over into the brush, and already Feels Batman is going to be sniffing out that something is wrong, that they had the ward in the river to catch that out. And that is going to be about 30 seconds of time purely wasted in trying to steal a buff. And now we're going to be a whole level behind this Ivern.
I like the play, and I like the attempt. Because if you can get that from the Ivern, it puts you so far ahead. The issue is he didn't pull the trigger right away. He shouldn't have gone from his buff to Wolves and then up there. He should have gone straight there if that was his plan all along.
Exactly. The only reason I could really see that would be the whole go to Wolves first would be to make sure that he's going to be nowhere near there, because they had to get a ward down there first to see where he was, just to make sure he didn't stay around a little too long, because you would be under leveled from the Ivern, and you wouldn't want to risk him simply just wailing on you with his early root collar plus bushwhack. If he did go that, most likely he probably went he would probably go as the trigger seed right away.
Ooh, Ransack Moose landing so many bindings here.
Ooh.
Onto the Caitlyn. That's what you like to see as a Tarek player. Anytime you can just kind of casually walk by, strut your stuff.
Yeah, the biggest thing I love to see Terex do is actually go with the early mobility, just so you can weave in your passive between every single spell, because it does a surprising amount of damage, even or especially if you're allowed to build a lot of early armor. And Feels Batman
flashing away under turret, but Feels Batman takes a couple turret shots, and he's still taking them. He was still bleeding. But under 50% is roaming to the top side. Just casually walks past the turret.
Yeah, and wait a minute. I have to check something.
Is mid lane. They might go in on the Gigabyte here. Misses the Sonic Wave, though.
I just know something. Never Vote Yes has a 1% crit chance rune that happened to proc on the headshot, doing a large chunk of damage onto Wicklebear, so I'm not sure if they're going to be trying to continue using that 1% crit chance to their favor, but it happened to work out right there, really heavily in trying to get him out. And now's where we can see Ransack Moose having to use up his heal a lot in order to try and bring Wicklebear back up to par on the health game, and is overall very low on mana now.
Yeah, the question is, what are the junglers going to do? We had a failed gank top and a failed gank mid. And no summoner spells blown from either side. Well, Spliffy, I guess, burned his flash. So what's next for these junglers? Out of 50% taking that Moby boots just so he can get around his jungle a little faster. But that means that he doesn't have the Ionia boots of Lucidity to give him that better team fight pressure.
I want to see under 50% right now. Go check over towards the Raptor camp because you could easily place a ward right down. Never mind, he doesn't have a ward up right now, but you could at least try and go for some vision. And Raptor camp is the most valuable camp for any jungler. Gives a ton of experience. Meanwhile, on the top lane though,
Spliffy jumping away from Feels Batman. As again, Feels Batman just so dominant, but so far behind in CS. That's actually a big thing to note here. He opted to take a back when Spliffy stayed in lane, so Spliffy, sizable CS advantage right now. He's going to come back to lane with a full Tiamat.
Yeah, but one thing we can see, though, is that Feels Batman is rushing for that Ninja Tabai, which a lot of Renekton's damage early on is going to be from Fervor of Battle, as well as his stun, which is basically just a bunch of auto attacks in a very short time period. So Ninja Tabai plus the Dorn Shield is going to really heavily mitigate that damage. So I love this build coming in from Feels Batman. It is a very smart one that, honestly, I'm surprised we don't see this as a more common counter build to the Renekton.
I really like the choice here. The question that I have is how is the Spliffy going to get this damage out? Because not only is it going to be a Ninja Tabby, but also, again, that Doran Shield. These auto attacks from Renekton are just going to do nothing against him. But in those team fights against the Katarina, against the likes of the Lee Sin as well, is that build going to be as worth it as Ernst is going in on a Gigabyte? Gets aggressive, gets the first blood with the Ignite, might give up one to turret. 50% picks up that one, and a beautiful play from Ernst. He was exhausted, but still gets it. Spliffy going big, jumping onto Feels Batman. Can't quite get him, though.
Yeah,
a lot of action around the map.
Ooh. Yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about, though. Ernst on that Katarina signature champion. Even if, by all rights, an Ahri should be to Katarina due to the early harass, you have to respect him as someone has mastered a champion as beautifully as Ernst has mastered Katarina. Meanwhile, in that top lane, again, we mentioned before that the Dominus could easily counter the Noxian Guillotine, and that's what we saw Spliffy preemptively doing. It's a fairly short cooldown, only 2 minutes, so it should be back up by the time the next all-in occurs, because you don't want to be trying to go 1v1 against a Renekton unless you have your flash just in case. So I doubt Feels Batman is going to go for any over-aggression.
Yeah, Feels Batman teleports to lane. Potato tries to maybe make a play happen up there, but it was warded, so he gets spotted out and has to back off, but looks like Spliffy's just walking a lane. This is teleport advantage now to the side of ganked by Gophers. They're going to have to make something happen with this.
I just realized we also have our Gigabyte is going the shifter build onto the Ahri. It's a build that, honestly, it's such a weird build to see on a mage or assassin, just because it's like, it's burst through item actives and passives rather than your own abilities. It's honestly like, come on, what in the world is the point of this build? Why is it that it works?
Or like, what is Korea up to as Gigabyte, again, avoiding another gank here. Potato was trying to preemptively see that Foxfire come out. Ransack Moose taking a lot of damage on the spot side. Is not level 6 yet, so he doesn't have that Taric ult. But now Potato might be getting initiated on dodges. The binding, though, the root. Good side step there.
Yeah, Lee Sin with that really high mobility. Doesn't have any boots yet, though, so he won't really be roaming around the map too heavy. Meanwhile, Feels Batman looking for that long trade onto Spliffy. So here's the thing. The build that Feels Batman does really allows him to go for these very long trades. He has the mobility to chase down Spliffy, as well as the durability to survive any of the all-in attempts that he wants to go for. And all he wants to do as a Darius
is topside as well. Daisy comes out, they start the initiation, but this is a tanky Renekton. Can they actually take him down? Guillotine is up. There's the dunk. It doesn't get the kill as Spliffy picks up one out of Feels Batman. Under 50% is limping away with his life bar flashing. Really good defensive play. Ernst, in the meantime, doesn't want to be shown up by his top laner trying to go big on the Gigabyte, but Gigabyte says, I can answer it. Might be more than you can fight, though. As you go down, almost. There's the Targ ultimate. Potato tries to dive under turret, and this is action in all 3 lanes, one after another. Might be a bot turret falling, and it is.
Whew. Okay, the only thing I don't like about that bot start going down, though, is that it's going to be all the gold split up between Larry Potato, Never Yes, and Wiki. It would have been much better if Wiki or Larry Potato at least walked away to focus all that gold onto the Caitlyn, because she's the hardest scaling champion you have on your team right now, and you need to have that insurance in case you don't scale hard enough in the early game as it is. Right now, you have Ernst and Spliffy doing a pretty good job in their own lanes respectively, but you still want that AD carry to get fed for that insurance in the late game.
Well, the issue was that there was no wave there present, no minions, so they figured, look, let's just burst this down as quickly as possible because we don't want anybody to take too much damage. If they had walked away from the Kate, maybe she wouldn't have been able enough to get it. I don't know, but either way, it is a classic lane swap now. This time, though, Mavericks actually kind of get the proactivity of being the first ones to get to their lane, now pushing in Never Vote Yes and Wiki into this top turret, as Feels Batman also gets bot side first.
Yeah, the biggest thing is that you want to make sure those AD carries are being used to capture the objective, so the moment that one tower goes down and they end up dying, or actually no, they didn't die. They just end up backing off because they were close to dying. They knew right away that the lane swap had to happen and they needed to start immediately moving over before Never Vote Yes could set up any traps and start sieging for the tower. Plus, just like we can see right now, allows under 50% to prepare himself for a gank.
Exactly, he is in that top side, but he's just going to back off, it looks like. Nope, he is staying. He hasn't been spotted out yet, I don't see any ping.
No, there's no
Gophers.
ward.
No ward on it. Daisy is... Oh, the trap! Really good defensive play from Never Vote Yes.
Yeah, that was actually a very smart trap to place. For one, it would defend the brush. Two, it would be able to see anyone who is directly in that area. It happened to catch on under 50%. Very unlucky. He spent so much time waiting there patiently for absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Literally Potato is actually up here for a gank in return. He is spotted out, so under 50% is running straight back. He has those Moby boots, so he will get up there in time.
True. No Targ ultimate, though. So if they do dive the turret, there's a chance they can get it, but not with that Ivern present, and not with Gigabyte roaming up as well. There's the Lantern, though. You just can't make those proactive plays against a Thresh that's prepared.
Yeah, but now that Gigabyte roamed over, it's going to be giving a lot of time for Ernst to free farm, as well as prepare for a roam down toward the spot lane with 0 towers to protect Feels Batman. This will be a 2v1 with an Ignite on Ernst. This should be a dead Darius.
Yeah, Feels Batman, you're a little too far forward. You have no vision of your enemy mid laner, and you're almost losing the 1v1 to Spliffy to begin with. And Ernst picking up an easy kill on Feels Batman.
Top lane.
They're trying to make something happen up here. Death Sentence onto Ransack Moose. The ultimate was used a little earlier, and Targ is very low. Gigabyte has joined the fight, though, trying to get damage out of Potato, but a good kick means that the charm can't even land, but they get onto Never Vote Yes, and they chain the CC. Can they get the damage? Oh, just barely picking it up. Gigabyte under turret. Spliffy completes teleport going topside, but just can't get anything else for this. And this might be a top turret going down now for the side of the Mavericks.
Yeah, this most likely will be a top turret going down, unless if Ernst can get here in time.
Is down. There's the shields, though. Can they keep him alive? Turret is aggroing the members of the Mavericks, and Spliffy goes huge. Feels Batman jumping onto the back line, and he's on Potato, but he just can't deal with the damage coming in from all sides of ganked by Gophers. Double kill to Spliffy. Feels Batman does answer one onto Potato, though. Ooh, Ernst doesn't want it to end. Oh, Ivern says no.
Yeah, it looks like he still wants to chase
Ivern says maybe, as Ernst he wants it, you can tell.
Yeah. He really wants that. However, it's also just pushing it forward to make sure that the tower can be pushed right up to. You have it where Kenman is right there tanking up, and a new minion wave will be appearing right away as Never Vote Yes returns to the lane. So this will be another tower going down. 2 towers in the favor of games by Gophers, and as we mentioned, they picked that early game composition, and this is exactly what they want.
Well, the issue is that Gigabyte's trying to roam top. Well, if you leave your lane, Ernst can push you in and roam bot, and that is so much easier to gank because there's no turret for Feels Batman to fall back on. If anything, maybe Gigabyte should have roamed bottom side or communicated with the team saying, "Look, I'm going top. Ernst can easily match my pressure bot, so Feels Batman, you got to back off here." And that was just that was one of those macro misplays coming inside of the Mavericks right there.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, it is also a very immobile top laner with the Darius. He has no way to escape. Unlike Renekton, who has that slice and dice, the only way you can really escape as Darius is if you just kill everyone who's trying to chase you.
Yep, and now exactly what just happened before. Caitlyn takes a turret, roams to a different lane. Immediately is sent mid. Now they're just patiently pushing in this turret. They don't want to do too much. Spliffy pushing that bot lane with no teleport available, but he is drawing pressure from Feels Batman now. So at this stage of the game, Ganked by Gophers know what they want to do. They want to go for this mid turret, but first they just got to get vision around the objective so that they make sure their flanks are covered.
Yeah, and Spliffy and Feels Batman happen to walk right by each other, so they actually know that Spliffy will be joining his team.
Ooh, Batman lands onto Ransack Moose. There's a play. There's the ultimate. Ernst is free to go in. The Tark ultimate finally comes out. Redemption goes down as well. They go golden, and they can't quite die right now. But Tark got bursted down so much, he's not going to be able to defend this siege anymore. And that Tark ultimate is so important when you're in these team fights. Such a large tool not at the disposal of the Mavericks now. They are getting some decent chunk onto the Caitlyn, but this turret's going to be going down. There's just nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, there's going to be now 3 turrets, 4,000 gold ahead. But they will be backing with just about everyone going away. The only person that might be saying would be Ernst and Spliffy, who don't have a lot of wave clear to defend against a 5-man push. And if they stay, it's going to be quite the oversight, because they have a lot of gold in their pockets, and they could easily be dove right here with under 50%, having Daisy up and ready to go. And Feels Batman with that Noxic Guillotine. We could see a few resets here and a complete demolish if they're not careful.
Yeah, and looking at the build paths here from Nevervote, yes, he hasn't had a chance to back in a while, I don't think. I guess he has not too much gold in his pocket, but not completing Rune Hands yet. And this is what happens when your Caitlyn just hasn't really had any kill participation. 0, 1, and 0. Not doing poorly by any means, but just not able to pick up those kills. There's Ernst going aggressive on the Wicklebear, picks one up with the Ignite, and still once more can he get onto the Taric. Decides to back off, but pulls the Ignite from Ransack Moose. Wicklebear had healed, didn't even proc it, might not have even saved his life, and really well played there from Ernst. Do they go on to Feels Batman under the turret? Potato doesn't take the Sonic Wave. Fliffy is forced to just jump away.
Yeah, I'm really curious why.
Ooh, Ernst once more walks straight into the stun and gives a kill to Gigabyte. Oh, that's a Feels Bad moment right there. Daisy gonna do his best to stop this siege top.
Yeah, this will be a 2v2 attempted right here. Just going to be forcing everyone off. But meanwhile, that gives a huge signal over to Nevervote, yes, and Wiki that they can easily take this Infernal Dragon for themselves. But there is still that fight happening up top. Do they want to go for it? I feel like they could honestly take it on. It's just an Ivern and Darius. And Darius hasn't even hit his power spike yet with the Black Cleaver. So you really do have the advantage.
Ivern and Darius. Come on, there's Daisy. that's a 2v3 basically.
Honestly, Ivern isn't much without Daisy. Basically, he's a shield bot with knockback.
Hey, come on, don't knock it. Don't knock the chip, especially now with under 50% is playing him 1-0-1 on the champion, out farming Potato as well. He's the one that's doing well for his team at the moment comparatively to the other lanes. Bot lane not too far behind either. The issue is all that global gold coming from the dragons, coming from the turrets, and that is really what skyrocketed Ganked by Gophers to this dominant lead right now.
Yes, exactly. They are now 4,000 gold ahead. Most of that gold being centered directly onto Spliffy as well as Cat in the Hat, or sorry, Ernst. Really use his old name still. Yeah, Spliffy as well as Ernst, who are really putting good use to this lead. We have Spliffy being able to just completely dominate people, using his ultimate to keep himself alive, and just jumping right into the middle of these fights. Not always getting a kill, but being a huge disruptor, and it is just beautiful seeing Renekton play like this. He's able to dominate this Darius with Feels Batman, but he has to be careful. We now have Feels Batman with the Black Cleaver fully finished. He has hit his power spike, and he is now level 11 with a rank 2 ultimate. You have to respect him.
Wicklebear just got that was, I don't even know what just happened there, but he's very low on health at the moment, all because of Nevervote, yes, just landing so many skill shots there. So this Caitlyn, even though she hasn't had a lot of kill participation, or any for that matter, still so strong at the moment. There is the initiation. There's Daisy coming down, and a flash from Nevervote. Yes, instead of taking the lantern, that doesn't feel good as a support. Exhaust onto Ernst as Gigabyte jumps on the backside. Now jumping onto Nevervote. Yes, gets the kill. Death sentence avoided. Spliffy on the backline, but it's a 1v3 under 50% dropping. That Redemption Tark ult coming in as well, and this fight is a bloody mess. Spliffy forced to flash out. It's a 4v5 right now, and ganked by Gophers just can't take this fight anymore. They're going to be forced to back off.
I am honestly so surprised. Feels Batman, you had the 5 stacks right into Spliffy. Why not flash
but
forward?
It's still there on the wiki. He's able to flash away, though.
Oof. Honestly, Feels Batman could have flashed forward and tried to go for the Noxian Guillotine onto Spliffy. He was incredibly low, and it may have gotten the kill for a reset to finish that fight off. However, going with the safe routes may have been the better play here, just because you don't want to risk throwing away even the slightest win that you can get to gain that 1 kill directly onto Never Vote Yes.
That might have been the fastest control ward take I've ever seen in my life, also, on the top lane. That Renekton. Whew! That just got it an instant. That feels great.
Oh, that's what I love about Renekton with his W, as well as Hydra, being able to just get those auto resets. Although he doesn't have it as a Titanic Hydra just yet, so he's not given an auto reset.
Does T-Mod proc on the control ward? It seemed like it did.
Nope.
I'll have to go back and see the VOD later.
It's not a direct attack, it's just an AoE proc.
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
now...
the only Hydra that does that. You hit the wrong there, or you hit the wrong thing there, Ernst.
See, that's that strategic ward placement that you like to see. Is like put it right behind the Baron, so maybe they just accidentally click the Baron, and then take a little bit of damage.
Well, for you people at home, if you want to try and work around that, all you gotta do is just shift your camera to the side, and click what's not the giant purple snake thing in the water.
Try your best. And now an initiation on to Never Vote Yes. He's gone in an instant. Can't even defend himself.
Yes, but that was an O2 Caitlyn that had the Spirit Rush utilized by Gigabyte, so that leaves him very vulnerable for this next fight.
Charm lands onto Ernst. He is able to get away, though. Some shield coming in from Wiki. And there's so many times that the Lantern just isn't taken. And you gotta, as a Thresh player, I know that you understand this feeling. When it's like, just take the Lantern, guys. I know you have abilities, but you can save them. Just take the Lantern. As now, Mankato Mavericks have actually kind of taken this game under control. They're pushing this mid turret, but a gank coming from Spliffy and Potato onto the side. There's stuns onto the Renekton. He's taking so much damage trying to jump onto the front line, but there's Daisy disrupting the back line. They just don't have any backup. Potato is full health, though. He might try to go in here. It's still a 4v5 situation. Now it's a 5v5. A lot of engagements. Death sentence onto Gigabyte. Do they go for it? They get Gigabyte forward, but Wiki might be the first to go down. Feels Batman gets 1, gets 2. That's a double for the Darius. Tarek ult makes him go golden. He's invulnerable. He wants more ult, and that's a triple for the Darius. That's a reset on the ultimate. Can he get more for this? Is this the triple? Oh, I mean the penta. Just a quadra, though.
Oh, yeah, Quadra is still pretty amazing. You have to admit, that was a full reset being utilized. The first person he took down was going to be Never Vote Yes, and then he immediately just brought down Spliffy with him, Wiki, and finally Ernst right before he dies, literally Potato. Just a beautiful display, and that's where we were saying this very durable build coming from Feels Batman, be able to also have that Cosmic Radiance and the seed, or the trigger seeds coming in from the supports, just making it so you can live so long, build up those stacks to get the Noxian Rage, and just pop off like you've never seen before.
And this is exactly what we were talking about in Champ Select, is when you have this all-in composition from ganked by Gophers, if they're not ahead, they're going to be struggling. And in these team fights with the Ivern and with the Tarek keep Darius alive, honestly, you might not even need to use the shields onto Ahri and onto Ezreal. If you can keep Darius alive and just let the others damage the members of ganked by Gophers, because they don't really have a pure tank, then Darius is just going to stomp all over this team composition. And we saw he was just 1-3, now 5-4. That was a huge power spike for this Darius right there. Still, I believe behind, still behind in gold, though, to his lane opponent Spliffy. So Spliffy is feeling a little comfortable right now.
It's only about a lawn sword that is behind, though.
True. And it is coming back. Here's more aggression coming in. Spliffy, you're caught out. Take the lantern. There, he learned. He figured it out, but ganked by Gophers might be a little caught out here. Feels Batman is still pushing this bot side, though. He has a teleport.
Charm is gone from Gigabyte now. However, Wiki really on position.
There's the aggression. Just get the turret. You don't need to dive under. And Ernst, again, going over the wall, now taking a lantern. Death sentence onto Gigabyte. Spliffy's going to be going down, but they get one back. And Spliffy actually doesn't die. The Renekton ultimate keeps him alive just long enough. Feels Batman does get one turret bot side, but because he refused to teleport and join that fight, they lose a tier 2 turret top.
Yeah, tier 1 for tier 2, that is never a good trade. We do have it where the GameSpy Gophers are going to be having to back, and while they're resetting, we may see Mankato look to push out some of these waves, possibly go for a drink so they get at least one under the belt, which honestly I feel like they should do right now. They have the level advantage on their jungler for the better smite, and while you have the GameSpy Gophers resetting, they're not going to be anywhere close enough to the dragon to really go for it, but they're taking way too long to react.
Yeah, this is definitely... I mean, they're going very slowly to clear the wards. I mean, ganked by Gophers, they would have known it was happening right away if they had gone straight for it because of how well warded ganked by Gophers had the jungle of the Mavericks. But now all those wards are gone. There's no vision on that top side for ganked by Gophers on either side of the jungle. So really good vision control from the Mavericks right now. And honestly, I don't mind that move because now they can pressure Dragon or Baron, either way, but they're choosing Drag. I honestly might have liked the call for Baron instead, because now Ganked by Gophers actually get their first, maybe their second Mountain Drake of the game, along with an Infernal.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why you're just giving this up, because honestly, having double Mountain Dragon and the Infernal onto a team comp that is so heavy damage focused with the Renekton, Lee Sin, Katarina, and Caitlyn, you're just asking for them to sneak a Baron under your nose. The main issue, though, is that we did have it where all those wards, the 3 pink wards, being placed all around this Baron, making it so that they will be keeping a constant eye on it at all times. Wiki is trying to clear some of these wards, but we have it where Feels Batman's trying to pressure him out. Rest of the team is going to be following up and making sure that they can take it away from them.
And Mavericks, they spent so much time getting this ward control down, and they, in an instant, lose Mountain Dragon and lose all of their Baron pressure. They push in the top wave, but what's that going to do when you have no vision control around the Baron? Yeah, they have those 2 wards in Ganked by Gophers jungle, but that's just not enough right now. I don't like the call from the Mavericks. I think they were just took a little too time to make a decision. Ernst looking to capitalize on it, jumping in on a Wicklebear, and does not get the kill. Ace in the hole, just tickling the Taric a little bit. Maybe it's Gigabyte's turn now as he does pop that Spirit Rush. Not going to get anything for it, though. Again, Feels Batman in the solo lane, just pushing in. And honestly, like, it's hard for Ganked by Gophers to even need to answer him, because he's just not pushing fast enough to be a split push pressure right now.
Double.
It is channeled behind. This is going to be the flank. They get onto Nevervote. Yes, this is so bad for the Caitlyn flashing away. She's got a kite. Taric ult coming in. And Ganked by Gophers are so disjointed right now. Spliffy getting caught out. He's the first to go down. Wicklebear making it a double, getting on to Nevervote. Yes, and now Ernst trying to make the hero play. But you just gave a triple to the Ezreal and Baron to Mankato Mavericks. And a horrible team fight for Ganked by Gophers.
Mankato waiting on the sidelines. He's going to go for the steal.
You have to at this point. Or...
yeah, but...
Ransack wait it out.
Yeah, Ransack Moose was trying to force him away. It is going to succeed. They're instead going to be sending over Larry Potato straight into the mid lane to push it out so that Mankato can't really capitalize too much on this Baron. But still, there's going to be a Baron and 3 kills going over to Mankato, putting them 2,000 gold ahead. And they are almost even on towers and ahead in kills now. The only real huge goal difference between any of the lanes as it stands is actually... basically all lanes except for 80 carry is evened up because Nevervote, yes, 0-5-2 on this Caitlyn, and is also being outfarmed by Wicklebear, who is 4-1-5. So I expect to see a lot of work coming in from this Ezreal, who is starting to get pretty bulky himself with that frozen, or not frozen mallet, Iceborne Gauntlet. I don't
It's okay, we're not 80 carry players or top lane echoes. We don't need to know what that item does, right?
True.
Or at least the name of it. But talking about that ward coverage from Mavericks, I was critiquing the not taking of Elder or the Baron earlier, but it actually paid out for them in the end. Is now by Gophers looking to make a play here. Potato going in, hits the kick, just knocking Ivern away, but he might be getting caught out here. A little bit of an over-aggression, and there's a descent on to Gigabyte. Ernst jumping over. Gigabyte goes golden, but is not going to be able to get away from this. That's one free kill for the side of Ganked by Gophers. Mavericks can't do anything for it, and they're just not capitalizing on this Baron at all. They're not even in a lane. They're fighting around an empty Baron pit. Potato wants to keep the fight going. Redemption coming down. There's a Taric ultimate. This is what happens when you don't delete the members. You just can't keep the fight going as now Ern's taking so much damage. Feels Batman being able to get 1, being able to get 2. You have the reset on the ultimate. Is this going to be the second quadra kill of the game? They're chasing down Nevervote, yes, and ganked by Gophers. You stayed a little too long. You didn't need to fight for that long. Take the pick and back off, but they got so aggressive right there, and Mavericks are able to turn it around in the end.
Yes, exactly. It's always these long, drawn-out fights, especially when you have competition with Ezreal and Darius, 2 champions that have those stacks. You have Fervor Battle on both of them, as well as the Rage passive from Darius and the passive of Ezreal, making it so that the longer the fights go out, they'll just simply be doing more and more damage stacking up. You cannot allow the fights to last this long, and they also have a Taric who's going to be forcing these fights to last so long. So honestly, Mankato was looking at the composition and saying, oh, you guys want to all-in us? Go ahead. We'll gladly call your bluff and dominate you with it.
Nevervote, yes, just blind checking that bush right there. Very confident.
I mean, what are the chances that you'd have a random champion in that brush? It's in the middle of the lane created by Ivern.
If I was the shot caller for Mavericks, I would hands down say, look, we give up objectives, we stand in this bush. This is our play, guys.
Fnatic brush.
And that's exactly why I'm not actually a player, I'm just a kid. But, you know, I can treat
Hey, you're honest. You're honest.
True.
And meanwhile, we can actually see that they're going to be looking to get some awards over in the bottom side of the map, looking to go for this tower next. Haven't picked up any inhibitors or even inhibitor towers for themselves. And the next dragon is going to be an ocean dragon. Not really benefiting anyone at this stage in the game, because in all honesty, if you get low on health, you're just going to back or lifesteal. And 30 minutes in, no one should ever really get low on mana. That's kind of hard to do at this point. So
I'm just gonna say something because I don't want to let it fly. Potato totally just failed putting Dragon Pit. I just want. Anytime I see little plays like that, I'm like,
no. That's a strategic ward.
True.
To make it so when he jumps in, he can ward hop back out.
Oh, okay, I see it. I like it.
Yeah. He'll jump in with you and ward hop back out. I'm gonna call it right now. If he does go for that, oh, actually, well,
genius play here is
before that though, inhibitor tower going down.
Might be a fight as well. Daisy is popped over the wall. They're jumping onto Potato. They're looking for the initiation. He can't even take the lantern, but he does get it out. Turret still falls down. And Mankato are so strong. There's just nothing Ganked by Gophers can do. Maybe jump out of Feels Batman. They're committing 4 members to it, but in the meantime, Ernst goes down to the side. Ganked by jumping out of the back line. There's the Tarek ultimate. Ganked by Gophers. You're going to lose this fight. There's 1. There's 2. Flashes away under their Nexus turrets. Oh! Mankato are following them. Double kill for Winklebear. And this might be the game. Minions are on the Nexus turrets. 5 members against 2. Make it 5 members against 1. Oh, okay.
This
Potato
is
gets out.
Definitely game. There is no way they're going to survive. Oh, wait.
Oh, they're able to get Feels Batman. But it is Nexus Inhibitor, rather, going down. And oh my god. Mankato with a dominant performance in the second half of that game. They did it. They proved that last game, it was a fluke, man. They can take down Ganked by Gophers, and they get their first win against this team. Ganked by Gophers so dominant throughout the entire split in the first match in the quarterfinals, but they gave up a game against Chicken Chasers in the semis, and now they just gave up their first game against the Mavericks.
Yeah, and in all honesty, you have to pin it down to this. Even though they can usually pull off these early game compositions, these very aggressive compositions really well, the moment that they let it last a little too long and give up a composition like having the Ivern and actually forcing the support to go someone like Taric, you're really just begging to lose for an all-in composition. Like, they banned out. I can understand the Karma ban and the Lulu ban against an all-in composition, but you don't really have to ban the Nami, because Nami's not that great against an all-in composition. She's more great against poke comps. So let the Nami go, because I'd much rather any day see a Nami have to go against a all-in composition than having to see an all-in composition struggle against the Taric with the Cosmic Radiance.
I think the bigger issue is the Ivern. I mean, take or leave the Taric. I'm fine with that being left open. I'm fine with them trying to limit the support champion pool and him getting that, but don't let under 50% get this Ivor. And feels Batman was able to do so much, not because he was playing Darius specifically, but because he was playing Darius with an Ivor and a Taric keeping him alive. If you take away the supportive jungler and leave open any of the other supports, Lulu, Karma, Nami, or Taric, that Darius is not going to be able to do what he was doing during the fights, and that was the biggest issue in my opinion, was under 50%'s Ivor and just so good throughout that entire game. And honestly, when I think of who gets player of the game, I'm going to give it to under 50%. He was able to show us why this champion is banned against him so often.
Oh yeah, Ivern overall is an incredibly strong champion. Very good in solo queue, very good in competitive. You have it where you can have very easy to access knockups, very low cooldown shield, a on-demand route. Yes, it's very hard to hit, but at the same time, it's a route that if you land can bring your whole team onto a single member, and you can deny vision of whole areas by placing those brushes in a very tactful way. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see it get either banned or picked immediately in the next round. However, next game will be Mankato's option to choose what side they want to play on, and I imagine they'll want blue side to guarantee that first pick and potentially go for the Ivern yet again.
Yeah, but we will see in a couple moments here. We're going to take a short break and be right back with Game 2. Can Ganked by Gophers come back and take another victory, or are Mankato Mavericks going to put the pressure on and maybe go for a full sweep? Don't go anywhere. Stick around. We'll be right back so you can find out. All right, and welcome back to sorry about that. Welcome back to Minnesota LCS Game 2. We have Mankato Mavericks against Ganked by Gophers. We're actually going to have to take a quick moment, a little longer break, unfortunately, because I just got a message for something on the production side that we got to worry about real quick. So, Mike, if you could just put up another 2-minute waiting, and we'll get right back into the stream right after that. So stick around. All right, and we are back. Sorry about that long wait. Unfortunately, we had a lot of discussion that we had to go through on the back line here. Unfortunately, one of the teams was breaking some rules that we had to take some disciplinary measures for. So Ganked by Gophers will be playing with their original player, Woody Parker. He is on a different account right now because of some disciplinary measures that had to happen. And they are also losing one ban from the first phase for all games going forward. So they're going to go 2 bans into 2 bans. Again, disciplinary measures had to be taken against Ganked by Gophers due to in-game occurrences. But we still have the matches coming underway going forward here, and we're still going to have a full series ahead of us. Just some slight advantages leading towards Mankato State University now in terms of that pick and ban phase.
Yeah, and we will be having it where Woody Parker is playing on a Smurf account, one that is owned by him. We were able to double check that and make sure it is not another shared account, and we will be going into this pick ban real soon. Just going to be waiting for the players to return and get on their respective accounts. Until then, one thing we can look at is going to be the way that each team may want to change their playstyle. One of the biggest things that I would want to say is seeing GameSpy Gophers change their pick and bans from such an early game focused composition and go something that can at least scale a little bit better, because we saw what happens when they don't get that early game that they want so desperately.
Yeah, the difficulty now being playing on a different account means that Woody Parker, the original mid laner for GameSpy Gophers, he doesn't have the full champion selection of his actual account. I don't know what kind of runes and masteries he has as well. So it's going to be a very different player coming out that we're seeing here for this game. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pick him up a mid laner or are forced to pick him a mid laner first pick for all games going forward in this match here for the finals. Really, really tough situation to be in.
Yeah, and we will be getting into this in just a moment once teams are all ready. And just going to let them know that, yes, I can also confirm that Help Me is another account owned by Woody Parker.
We have gotten that confirmation, so that's not going to be an issue.
Yeah. And we will... Yeah, okay, so spectate link. There. Just give them the link so that they can all jump in. Sorry, I just have to give the people that. And
it's all good.
Yeah. So, just to reaffirm, UM and GameSpy Gophers are losing the first ban, so we'll be having a free 30 seconds to talk. So, I mean, hey, how was your day?
True. Or can they... Oh, yeah, they can't lock in nothing, right?
No, you can't lock in absolutely. I mean, I guess they could do like a throwaway ban, but who knows? Even if you ban something like Urgot, what if someone wants to play it? True. Yeah, like what if Wickle Bear wants to go Urgot ADC? You can't risk it.
No, the legendary Urgot mid lane to counter, what is it, Zed? Is that the...
Oh, yeah, Zed and Talon. Who knows, maybe that's the only mid laner that Help Me has on that account.
Oh, you never know, but Azir is taken off the table. Mankato going for the jugular here. They know all the information that we know as well, that GameSpy Gophers, they don't have as big of a mid-champion pool for Woody Parker right now, or rather, I guess I should start calling him Help Me. I'm just going to call him Woody Parker.
It's still Woody Parker.
It's still him. It's still the same guy. So already the champion that he would have on his Smurf is taken away. The question is, are they just going to keep it going? No, they're not. They're taking away other lanes now. Shen off the table now for Split the top lane.
Yeah, Spliffy is known to be a pretty good Shen player, being able to utilize the Stand United very well and just constantly be a split push threat. However, I feel like it should also be respecting the Renekton, since that did put in a lot of work, at least in the early game last time, unless if they're thinking of maybe going for yet another Renekton-Darius matchup, we would have to wait and see whether or not the GameSpy Gophers are going to be banning it.
Yeah, Darius taken off the table. That wasn't the issue, though. Again, I think it's the Ivern that they need to pay more attention to.
I think they may first pick it this time.
It could be. Literary Potato has been known to play this champion very well. It's a very strong pick right now in the meta, so I kind of want that to happen. I want GameSpy Gophers to make that proactive pick, understand what went wrong in the last game, and change it for this game. Get a slightly tankier team, or if you don't get a tankier team, at least get the Ivern to kind of facilitate that, and there it is locked in. Absolutely the right call, in my opinion.
Yeah, and being able to have early game aggressive junglers to play against the Ivern, or a jungler that can equally scale hard, such as a very heavy tank, maybe even something like, well, not very too meta, but something like Sejuani, Zac, stuff like that, can play really well into Ivern. However, they see the Lulu open, they are immediately going to go for it and lock in the Caitlyn to match up. So this will be a very heavy bully bot lane coming in from Mankato. And we have to see the way that GameSpy Gophers want to play against this. Will they pick up their bot lane right away to counteract that? Or will they go for other lanes instead? I feel like going for your bot lane pick right now would be better so that you're not blind picking the rest of your lanes.
I think they got to pick up their mid laner. Karma is a good kind of flex pick here for Ganks by Gophers. They've done this in the past where they pick up Karma early and they don't pick. I wouldn't expect or wouldn't be surprised to see maybe their AD carry picked up here. So it looks like they're taking the bot lane together to match Mankato's bot lane. But in actuality, then they're going to flex pick the Karma into the mid lane. It's a champion that Whitty Parker has performed incredibly well on, but it's also that the possibility of it going on the bot side that can scare Mankato. So they might sniff it out though. The question is, do they keep trying to ban out mid laners, or do they just accept, nope, it's probably Whitty Parker on the card?
I feel like you'd want to keep banning out other top laners, actually, just because if you can guarantee a strong top laner on Feels Batman, he could easily take aggressiveness into his own hands, especially if you can get his hands on someone such as Kled now that Darius is gone. We've seen him do work on Kled in the past, and I would love to see them ban out potential Kled counters, even maybe stuff like the Renekton, but it looks like oh, maybe they are suspecting that's a Karma mid.
Could, right. Yeah. Again, it's kind of a. If they have been doing their research on Ganked by Gophers, this is a great call to make. But there is still the chance that Ganked by Gophers can flex at bot lane. I don't think there's a high chance. I think that it makes sense with Whitty Parker playing on a different account, being forced to use an account that doesn't have as many champions, just get him something he's comfortable with early. But there's always that but. So it's difficult to be in this situation. I agree. I think they should have tried to ban out the top laners instead, but maybe they thought Thresh was an issue in the last game.
Yeah, and Lee Sin was supposed to be banned. We'll just have a gentleman's agreement that Lee Sin was banned. No one's going to be picking it for the rest of this pick ban phase. Okay, both teams agreed to that, just to be fair. And the final ban is going to be Renekton from the side of Mankato. What do you think the final ban from Ganked by Gophers will be?
I mean, they're trying to target out some of the jungle. I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see the Graves taken off the table as well. A very aggressive jungler that's still relatively strong, but of course, I'm never correct. It's a Fiora instead. Really respecting Feels Batman again. They liked that he didn't play this champ last game, but what they didn't like is that he still got Darius. So at least they were able to fix that this time, and they got the Ivern away. So,
but they did leave up the Lulu this time around.
They left up the Lulu. They got the Karma. I honestly like this pick and by Gophers. I think that they have a better, well-rounded comp. The Varus is slightly off meta, but keep in mind it could be throwback to mid Varus. Probably not.
They do have flex champions. They could have mid Karma. They could have mid Varus. I don't freaking know, but it's going to be a jungle slash. Actually, that could be a top lane Gragas too. That has been seeing a slight return.
Ooh, the mental games. You never know what's going to happen. But there we go. Spliffy on a tank. This is what Ganked by Gophers was missing last game. They had the Renekton who can get tanky, especially once he pops that ultimate. But his base stats aren't incredibly tanky when you have to deal with the Ahri and the Darius. Now he's got the Nautilus. So I would not be surprised to see something very aggressive that can bully him out. Maybe the Kled coming through here for Feels Batman. Or we could see the Gragas into Nautilus matchup. Seen it a lot. There we go. Ooh, it's Victor locked in. It is Karma bot.
I mean, it could be a Victor support. Technically, it could also be Nautilus support Victor top lane.
True. I mean, could be Varus top.
You see the Kled locked in for Feels Batman. I absolutely love that. It's going to be a very aggressive top lane coming in right here for game number 2 as well. And honestly, I love seeing this composition. A Kled, a Lulu, going to be speeding up their teammates with insane amounts of movement speed. Just imagine Gragas with his fat belly charging at you with max move speed.
It's like, hey, you're not supposed to run that fast. Come on.
I mean, it probably caused earth tremors, honestly.
Probably. Imagine just the ripples on his body as he's running fast. I know what you're imagining right now. Wink, wink.
Yeah, no. Nope. Right.
It's in your head. It's in your head right now. I know it is. You can't get it out. You can't get it out.
No. Let's not put that into our own viewers.
Come on.
Let's not put that image into our own viewers. Either way, we do have it where game 2 is going to be going underway in just about 3 minutes. So let's take a little bit to talk about the compositions here. We have it with, well, I guess we could do it a little bit earlier. Do you just want to get the whole rundown of what the compositions are early on?
You know what? Sure. Why not? We can talk about Silly in the in the 3-minute wait for this stream. We have, again, for Ganked by Gophers, one more time through Nautilus top lane, Ivern jungle, Victor mid with a Varus Karma bot. This is a very strong composition, in my opinion. Very good wave clear, a lot of damage coming from the Varus and the Victor. If Victor can get into the later stages of the game, he's going to be so hard to kill because of this Karma and Ivern. And anytime we see the Ivern picked up, anytime is also a hyper carry or kind of like a later scaling champion, it just feels so good because you're like, all right, we can get to that stage of the game, because in the earlier stages there's just shields going around for days. Daisy kind of helps mitigate some of that lost damage, being that front line as well with the Nautilus. So I like this composition. But going over to the side of Mankato Mavericks, they have a really strong comp as well. Honestly, this is something that we would see in the LCS, so it's really showing the strengths of these two teams and how good they are in the pick and ban.
Yes, exactly. And I really wanted to pay attention this game to the mid lane matchup as well as the jungle matchup yet again. We did have a jungle as one of the big focuses last time because, again, Ivern has made it through. We see it where Ivern is so impactful throughout these games. Game 1, he had it where he was able to keep people alive insanely well, especially in cohesion with Tarek. This time around, it's going to be working together with the Karma, someone who is equally powerful at peeling off for the team and disengaging fights. So I feel like this is going to be beautiful teamwork between the support and jungle. But just imagine this. You have it where people are stuck inside Victor's field, knocked up by Nautilus, pulled by Nautilus, knocked up and rooted by Ivern, and then rooted for even extra amount of time by Karma and the Varus ultimate. That is just going to be insane amounts of lockdown. And this time around, I am much happier with the pick ban that came in from Ganked by Gophers, but I'm still equally happy with the pick ban coming in from Mankato as well. They have that aggressive top lane to try and shut down the Nautilus. They also have a very well-scaling jungler with the Gragas and just many other strong lanes.
The only thing I'd say for the side of Mankato is that Kled is definitely a hit or miss. I mean, I would have liked to see something like the Renekton more, something like the Fiora. Darius and Fiora were banned against them. They chose to ban Renekton against Spliffy, respecting that pick from the last game, which means it feels Batman gets put on this off-meta pick, and that's the only side of Mavericks that I'm looking at that doesn't feel great to me if it's on paper, but looking at this team specifically and looking at Feels Batman's playstyle, I don't mind it. We've seen him pop off a lot on him, and he can kind of bully that Nautilus and then have really strong roams towards the mid lane onto the immobile Victor, who's taking teleport instead of Ghost or something like the cleanse to deal with the Ahri charms. So this Victor's going to have to be very careful once Kled reaches level 6, but if Spliffy is able to just keep Kled in lane, I think that I'm going to give advantage to Ganked by Gophers in terms of overall pick and ban.
Yeah, I'm going to completely agree with you right there. Mostly because I also prefer the Ivern over the Gragas, and I also much more appreciate Karma over Lulu, as well as Victor being much more hard scaling in the mid game compared to Ahri, at least when it comes to team fights. If you have it when it comes to roaming, Ahri is always much better than Victor, especially in the early game, which we may see swap around a playstyle where before we saw Games by Gophers be very early game focused, and this time around, it may be Mankato playing with that style since they have the Ahri and the Kled, and I want to see just how well they can execute on this, and especially when it comes to objective control, since there's going to be such insane amounts of wave clear coming in from Games by Gophers with the Victor and the Varus.
And that's the thing, is they have Caitlyn, which is very strong against sieging, but how do you stop a Caitlyn siege? You have wave clear. If Caitlyn doesn't have a wave there to help her, she just can't really do much, and Varus and Victor can pretty comfortably sit behind the trap line and just clear those waves for days. Even the Karma helping out with that a little bit. The only issue coming from the side of Ganked by Gophers, they don't really have that split push pressure that Mankato Mavericks do. Kled can really provide pressure in the side lanes, having teleport as well as his ultimate to get into fights. And Ahri being able to roam around from that mid lane a lot more. So I'm seeing a little more mobility coming from the side of Mankato's composition here. The only thing is it is slightly matched by the double teleport from Ganked by Gophers. Will it work on the Victor, though? That's a big question. What are your thoughts on that summoner spell for him? Is that what you like for him? Do you think that he should have picked up something else?
I feel like it can work pretty decently, although maybe it's a little too greedy to go for it. It's selfish. I can definitely agree that it's going to be a more selfish summoner spell, but I can see it still working. Just because of the playstyle for it, and also the whole fact that you could easily utilize the teleports in order to make it so that you can rush back to lane if you're burned down, because usually, as you mentioned before, the cleanse is what's really good against Ari just because it stops you from getting all in. But if you build an early Abyssal Scepter, something that many victors are seen to do, you could just get that durability right off the bat and then utilize it in order to make it so that you're not getting 100-0'd by the all-ins, and can then teleport back to lane so that you're not wasting time during your backs.
True. One more time, though, here we have ganks by Gophers on the blue side again. This time with a different mid laner. Spliffy top lane, Potato in the jungle. Healp me, I think? That's an umlaut over... Well, it's an umlaut over the E. Healp. I'm gonna call him that. Healp me would never vote yes. And Wiki on the bot side. For Mankato Mavericks, feels Batman top, under 50% jungle, Gigabyte mid with Wickle Baron Ransack Moose on the bottom side. They took game one. Can they keep the momentum going forward? They're playing against a different team composition now because of this different mid laner on the side of ganks by Gophers. What will this mean?
Well, the biggest thing that's going to mean right off the bat is that there is going to be a much more aggressive thing going on. If they run into each other, they're standing right by one another.
Feels Batman is walking towards him. There's the initiation. Gonna get the damage. He jumps off the skull, meaning that he does get away. And Kled was the correct choice when you're going for that face check on the bush. Ganked by Gophers actually looking a little worse for the wear there after that raid. They're forced to kind of limp away. They almost got Feels Batman, but Kled is such a hard champion to burst down at that level 1.
Well, hey, you know what? They have 33 gold onto Ransack Moose and only 30 onto Wiki, so I think that's a huge win for Mankato right there.
God. That always feels great.
One extra bandit proc. Made a difference.
It's lane 1 already for the side of Mankato. I'm surprised it doesn't say 2.6k for the side of Mankato just from that.
Oh yeah, I know that 3 extra gold is such a huge difference. I mean, that's basically a whole item right there, right?
It's 1/100th of boots. Think about that. Think about that power spike that you're about to reach. 100th of boots.
100 more bandit procs, and you got the boots right there. Meanwhile,
we'll see if it does make any difference going forward.
Meanwhile, we have it where literally Potato decides to actually start at his red buff and is going over to his own blue rather than trying to start his blue and then go over to the enemy red. Something I'm really surprised he didn't opt for, probably just because he didn't want to risk going for the aggressive style and then being invaded, or not invaded, but counter-invaded by Feels Batman and under 50%, which honestly would be terrifying having Kled and Gragas go against you in the early game.
Very true. It's something that is played by passive Ivern players when they don't want to get too aggressive and go into the enemy jungle. You just prep your own jungle. And honestly, he still could go for some kind of smite play later on. He's getting spotted by Gigabyte here.
Yes, but he was able to get a ward down right onto under 50%'s red buff, so he sees that it's up and is not taken yet. So that's going to be a lot of information given over to his own team to let them know that the bot lane can be a little bit aggressive and not have to worry about things, which is exactly what they want with this Varus and Karma bot lane. You want to go aggressive early onto this Caitlyn before she can really hit that level 3 power spike.
Yeah, and what's going to happen next is the question. It's still very early in the game, 3 minutes, but we're seeing that these players, I don't know if it's nerves, I don't know if it's just they're trying to give us a show, but there is some half full health bars already. There's a lot of trading going on in the top side, in the bot side as well. Mid lane going slightly in the favor of Help Me. Oh, good trade on Spliffy there, getting Scarl back as well. And this is just what happens when you play Nautilus into an aggressive player like the Kled. There's the Charmer to help me. Gragas with the flash body slam. Ignite goes down. Is this first blood? It is! Picked up by under 50%, but it's answered right back. Feels Batman. There's a creep block. But he still gets a solo kill. Top lane onto Spliffy. 2 lanes already losing from the side of ganks by Gophers.
Yeah, and the biggest thing to remember here is that you have it where Kled with Scarl can easily tower dive since he gets invulnerable and untargetable during that transition from Scarl to not mounted. So it's the perfect way to go for a dive when you have a very low health top laner like that. Nautilus being only at 100 health was an easy kill.
Now under 50% is making his way towards his bottom side. All he has to pick up is Gromp. He's also spotted out by some vision. So Potato might be able to do some kind of proactive play with this information now. But there's really nothing for him to take on the top side.
Yeah, I really doubt that number percent really wants to be going for a gank anytime soon, just because the lane is starting to push back towards the side of Gangs by Gophers, and he's honestly, we can see he's back in right now.
Potato's heading towards the top side. Feels Batman's getting really far forward. He has the confidence that he can take down Spliffy. There's the damage under the turret. He does get the kill, but Potato is here, flashes forward. Oh, with the flash away from Feels Batman. Potato just can't get that damage. He's trying to chase him down. Lands the root, getting the damage. Help me is gifted the kill.
Right before he could get on Scarl and get that extra health, he ended up getting bursted down. Talk about unlucky. I actually thought that there's no way that would have been able to really connect, but apparently it does just before the health came in.
Yeah, really well played there. Side now of Ganked by Gophers proactive play from Potato, and that was kind of scripted in a way when you're the jungler. It's like, well, I'm going to go try to counter jungle. I see there's nothing up. I'm already top side. Top is pushed in. Gank top. Really clear path there, but well executed Potato. Unfortunately, Spliffy did die in the process, but at least, hey, Ganked by Gophers, they're on the board now.
Yeah, the real sad thing, though, is that Feels Batman is now 2 levels ahead, as well as 2 kills, and plenty of gold on the bot lane.
Attack moves will ignite, get it! Heal from Wigglebear, but a flash from Never Vote Yes secures the kill. Ganked by Gophers, you're giving away kills left and right, though! Wiki did not need to be there, Potato, once to make something happen, but they just can't commit to it. And Never Vote Yes had heal as well, he just didn't use it. Wiki had flash, just didn't flash Wigglebear's damage. This, again, it might be nerves, it might just be over-aggression, but Ganked by Gophers, they're losing these kills when they might not need to. Gigabyte has roamed bottom side, but Heal Me's just going to stay.
Wigglebear is being a little low there and taking the minions. Might want to be careful. Luckily, level 5, but still, that was a little.
Here's a gank on the mid side, under 50%, no explosive cast, but does land the body slam. Gigabyte, the charm is on to Heal Me. He might be going down, but the Iron Shield keeps him alive just in time. A late ultimate, though. I maybe would have liked to see that a little earlier, but still does keep him alive. So good job, Help Me. Woody Parker. I'll call him Help Me. No, we're in game.
Let's just say Woody Parker. It's much easier.
It's so hard.
All right, but. One thing to look at, though, is you have to remember this is exactly the way that Game 1 went, but on the other side of the table. And this time around, it still is the team that's ahead early, has that early game composition without too heavy a scaling. And so we may see a repeat where it's due to the Ivern and the whole supportive team composition. They just simply scale much harder if the side of Mankato is unable to take this lead into their own hands and push for the objectives.
Yeah, 1,400 gold ahead at the moment. Now 1,300. 7 minutes into the game. That's a good lead, but it's not an insurmountable lead from the side of Ganked by Gophers. This is something that if they just make one good play, the ball is suddenly in their court, and they have control over the game again. But in order to get that split, you got to get level 6, man. 20 farm behind, 2 solo kills to Feels Batman. That doesn't feel good. Never Vote Yes, getting poked down a little bit here as well.
In all honesty, one of the biggest things that put Spliffy so far behind was the fact that the lane was pushed so far into his enemy tower that the moment that Feels Batman teleported up there, he was able to catch a huge minion wave, but if Spliffy wanted to follow up with his own teleport, it basically would have been instant death. Because
2 junglers coming to the bot side. There's a grasp onto Wicklebear. Ivern's coming in. Polymorph. Here's initiation. Feels Batman on the top side's also going and gets a solo kill under turret again. As nothing might happen on the bot side. 50% taking some damage, but Never Vote Yes is going to be forced to back away. Gigabyte roamed. Help Me with no answer. Explosive cast. Gigabyte picks up 1. Can they get more? That's 2. That's 3. A double kill going for Gigabyte. 1 for Wicklebear. 4 members of Ganked by Gophers falling on the map almost at the same time.
The moment that they see
Storm initiation on to Help Me. Do they have the damage? There's the Ignite. Help Me trades it back. Gets a double onto Ransack Moose. But 2 ignites is just too much for him to deal with. He goes down. Spliffy completes teleport. Can he get onto Wicklebear? They want to keep the fight going. No flash available.
A little too far. Doesn't want to go for the depth charge.
And what a crazy fight there, which nets Mankato a 3,000 gold advantage, as well as this first top turret going solo to Feels Batman.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that ended up feeling for the dive was that Gigabyte got the flash charm perfectly as well as the ignite immediately pulled off. However, he ended up stopping his own movements while he was still under tower magnitude. He took an extra 2 tower shots, and that ended up being what killed him. If he just simply walked forward more, he would have avoided those tower shots and possibly could have lived.
Yeah,
So
most likely.
It was very interesting to see that, but I think I would prefer seeing them just simply back off, seeing the wave clear there at the tower, and rotate to Dragon instead. Because a Mountain Dragon is still extremely powerful onto a sieging composition such as this one, especially because you have such a strong split pusher with Feels Batman on the Kled.
Yeah, Spliffy finally hits level 6, but is 2 levels behind his lane opponent. That is just so big of a discrepancy. They can't allow this Nautilus to do the solo lane against Kled anymore, as Feels Batman is actually just roaming around the map.
Yeah, he also has to teleport up, so he could easily go down to another lane such as bot lane, try and pressure that tower, but instead it looks like he knows that a team fight may be breaking out real soon and wants to keep an eye out to make sure he can join when it's necessary.
Yeah, when is the action going to happen next? 5 members of Ganked by Gophers are in this mid lane. They abandoned topside. Spliffy has joined the team, and they're looking to maybe pressure this dragon. I like the proactive play from Ganked by Gophers. They're really far behind, but if they can get these kinds of plays, it gets them back into the game. The question being, Mavericks are ready. They have all 5 members here as well. All they need to do is get a good initiation. Kled ult coming through. Where's the explosive cast? Watch for it. There, it's not yet, but there's so much damage. Everybody, yes, gets the first kill. Daisy taking up so much damage. Feels Batman's a little too far forward. His team is not there with him as Spliffy is just distracting the bat line. But now Gigabyte is there. Can he get help me? And not quite. Ransack Moose gets Spliffy. Feels Batman going forward to get a double kill. Where is Scarl? He gets a triple! Literally, a potato is the only member left, gets the shutdown, but he is 1v3. I thought it was going well for Ganked by Gophers, but it just falls apart because Feels Batman just goes nuts right there.
He got the perfect time to resurrect onto the Scarl and end up being able to take down Help Me, and then Wiki, right after he sees that he has the time to pull it off, he gets the bear trap on a rope to pull in Help Me, and just uses that bonus movement speed running towards champions to knock down Wiki at the last moment. And literally, Potato ended up being literally dead the moment that the rest of Mankato collapsed right onto him, and they get a tower down finally in that bot side.
And this is what happens when your Nautilus is this far behind. I mean, eventually he'll get tanky, but the keyword is eventually, not now. Can't do that kind of backline dive. He was trying to 1v3 just distract the members of Mankato, but then Gigabyte realized, look, I don't even need to worry about you. I just Spirit Rush past you and jumped right onto the damage dealers from Ganked by Gophers. And without a front line to stop the Ahri, there's just nothing Ganked by Gophers can do when there's an Ahri on top of your Victor, on top of your Varus. Yes, you have the double shields from the Ivern and from the Karma, but it's just not enough at this stage in the game.
Yeah, it's just like you said, right now Spliffy is just so far behind, he simply cannot put anything out. So in all honesty, as long as you can simply walk past him and start ignoring some of his crowd control, you can just focus real hard onto Help Me as well as Never Vote Yes, who are the main threats right now on the side of Games by Gophers. But frankly, these threats are still not even at that big of a
Contesting
fight.
the dragon, they're going on to Ransack Moose. Wild Growth onto the Lulu teleport channel from Feels Batman. They get 1 kill first, but Potato goes down in reply. Feels Batman is now onto Wiki. That's not what you want. Never Vote Yes trying to get her out with a heal. Flash over the wall means that she might survive, but the Kled ultimate is all that is needed to save the kill and win the team fight. It was a 1-for-2. Teleport completed by Spliffy, but they might not want this. Flash over the wall from under 50%. Does he have explosive cast? Not quite. Body slam not coming in. Help Me goes down to Gigabyte. Orb of Deception did not deceive that time. Gets the kill, but under 50% goes down as well. Never Vote Yes can't answer it in reply. Spliffy taking so much from Feels Batman. Scarl is going to keep him alive. Can Spliffy do anything else with this? Come on, get the damage out of Feels Batman. There's the solo kill under turret. He just had to walk. He just did a little dance. He's like, maybe I'm going to go in, maybe I'm going to go out.
Oh, yeah, that ended up being what killing him. He walked forward. You can even see in the ult chat, he said he did a self-facepalm for walking forward and then walking directly backward. He canceled his auto attack, and it's so sad to see when that happens to a player, especially when that one auto would have secured the kill most definitely. But we still have it where Feels Batman is just so far ahead. He's lacking a little bit in farm at this point in the game. He is down about 50 farm for what would be a perfect game when it comes to farm, but he still has the most gold by far. He is 1,000 gold ahead of the next highest person, who is Gigabyte.
Yeah, I don't think he really needs to worry about having perfect farm right now. This is definitely a bloodbath of a game. This isn't a farming kind of game. This isn't where you'd expect, oh, Victor's going to farm the late game, Varus going to farm, Caitlyn going to try to siege. They're going all in on these fights, and that's what I love to see in Minnesota LCS. That's what the fans are here for. And that's the reason I do this, man. The hype, the excitement, as now Ganked by Gophers might be giving us another fight. They have 4 members trying to siege down this mid lane. Their wave clear is so strong, and Caitlyn, with her traps, can try to stop it.
Yeah, speaking of wave clear, there's actually no wave clear right here in this lane to try and stop it from the side of Man and Kato. Instead, they have over Gigabyte and Feels Batman are pushing these side lanes. Feels Batman with the charge almost up, just as a few more seconds, may be coming into this mid lane real soon. Meanwhile, Gigabyte is just placing a ton of pressure in this bot lane. That is a huge wave for Nevervote Yes to pick up. However,
might actually go in. The charm lands. There's the shield from Ivern, though. Can he keep him alive long enough? Heal. Redemption. Oh, it's just barely too late. If Redemption had come down, they might have won this fight. Gigabyte has a chance to get out now. Explosive Cast does not save the life of the mid laner as Potato picks up a kill in response for Nevervote Yes.
Yeah, but the big thing though is that you drew so much attention from the Ganked by
more
Gophers.
action happening midside. Ranside Moose getting hit by those bindings. Wild Growth onto himself, flashes away, but Help Me picks up the kill. That's another kill to the victor. 4, 4, and 3. You have the deaths on the team, but you also have the kill participation. Here's the charge from Kled coming in to jump onto Help Me, but a good cleanse. Now Feels Batman taking some damage. Flashes forward aggressively. He's under 2 turrets, between 2 turrets, but he doesn't care. All he's got to do is just buy time as they try to take these turrets down. He does finally die, though. Potato picking up his 4th kill of the game, and really good job here from Ganked by Gophers actually being able to defend that. Do they? Oh, that dredge line was so close to getting them another.
Yeah, it was just barely out of range. However, they do have a lot of time to try and pressure this tower. It looks like they're going to be back in and resetting, though. They do have quite a bit of gold on themselves. The only one being Nevervote Yes, who had already backed earlier, is going to be staying in this mid lane. And looks like Spliffy is going to be pressured just enough to have to cancel his back for just a short bit. Meanwhile, we have it where no Dragon is going to be up for quite a bit of time. They could maybe go for Rip Herald. They put that onto Feels Batman. That would be an immense amount of super push pressure, and I'd actually love to see that happen right now. It looks like they're going to be saying no division, going for it.
Baron is prepped for Mavericks, or rather the Rift Herald, right? Yep.
Yeah. Not a Baron just yet, so that's
Baby
a bit
Baron.
of a difference.
Baby Baron.
Yeah,
Still
mini Baron.
Still not the new Rift Herald, but hey, we saw one taken last game, so maybe this is MNLCS giving its farewell to old Rift Herald as Engage onto Help Me goes in. A wide ultimate from the Varus does not pick up anything. You're taking a lot of damage from these Caitlyn's auto attacks, but Caitlyn, you're a little too far forward. Wild Growth barely keeping it alive. Explosive Cast doesn't land onto any member, but Nevervote Yes is so low. Flash from Caitlyn picks up the kill. Wild Growth barely on. Here's Feels Batman onto the backline. Daisy coming in a little bit late. Literally Potato goes down, but a good CC coming in from the Victor keeps members under the turret, but again, the dredge line just barely misses its target as Mankato picks up 2 kills and again regains pressure around this mid turret now.
Yeah, and just exactly the way that we saw Wicklebear playing pretty aggressive on the Ezreal last game. We can see that flash forward, actually securing the kill to Nevervote Yes, and being able to use the 50 caliber net to make himself alive during that whole aggressive, 90 caliber net. There's a big difference between a 90 and a 50 caliber, apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Whew. You gotta go hunting, Don. Come on.
I mean, hey, you know what they say about bigger caliber nets?
Bigger compensation. Am I right?
I was gonna say bigger gun, but I guess it's also bigger compensation. Same thing. Either way, we still have it where Gigabyte just constantly placing split push pressure whenever there is no team fight available, and I really love seeing this from these solo laners, because when you go around and constantly pressure these side lanes, not only are you putting pressure to force the enemy to not be grouped up, which is exactly what Games by Gophers wants right now, you are also you're also allowing yourself to gain a decent experience lead over the other lanes, which right now we can see Gigabyte, despite being in a lot of these team fights, has found enough time to push in these side lanes to be a whole level ahead of everyone else in the game.
But I think there's also some good play coming in from Ganked by Gophers here, specifically with Spliffy. He understands he doesn't need to try to take down Fields Batman in that solo lane anymore, because it's just an impossibility at this point. Just farm up, try to keep lanes pushed, go top lane, push that out, go bot lane, push that out. You have teleport. You're the member on the team that should be doing that and should be building towards a completed item, which he still hasn't gotten. Here's initiation. Ooh. They see Spliffy on the bot side. You got to channel that teleport right now. It is going on to the turret, but explosive cast knocks so many members back. Help me, he's the first to go down. That's a gigantic Gragas with that wild growth. One member down for Ganks by Gophers, and the trigger was pulled on the side of Mankato. They saw Spliffy bot and said, we're going in right now. Under 50%, looking to maybe get on this backside as well.
Everyone, yes, there's no mana. He should not be able to clear this wave. He is completely gone. They could easily flank.
This turret's going down. Spliffy taking a lot of damage. Nautilus, you don't have an item yet. You're not that tank. You got a dredge line away. Never is dodging a good charm.
He ended up getting the trigger seed out just in time to protect himself. Literally, Potato being the savior of his team for that. Was that also Locket? I don't know. I forget. Item cooldowns on the Zoo show, so Locket was not used.
No, item cooldowns do not show.
Oh, they don't? Okay.
No, they do not. Much to my bane. That's why we need replays, right? We got to go back and replay those.
True. Meanwhile, we can see that the Cloud Dragon was picked up.
Gigabyte. He's able to flash away. No Spirit Rush available. Has Ignite, though. This is exactly what Gank by Gophers need. Get the kill onto him. They do. All 5 members collapse, but only 4 get the kill participation. Kill going over to the support. Come on.
Meanwhile, the rest of Mankato is going to be joining up right in this mid lane to try and keep the tower safe while there is a full 5-man siege right into this mid lane. Not much wave clear now that Gigabyte is down. Will they be able to protect it?
This is the pesky Caitlyn trap line you got to deal with when you're trying to siege these turrets. Not only is Caitlyn so strong at taking down turrets, but pretty good at defending them as well. Just because you can't get close enough. Your melee Nautilus, your melee, or I guess no one else technically is melee, but you just can't get quite close enough to those turrets.
Ivern when there's no brush. And True. If you're going for a tower take, it's really hard to get the brush close enough to the tower without being in threat range.
Oh, here is Mankato looking to get on the backside again. Feels Batman jumping on the Potato, but Daisy, get away from my jungler. You back.
Yeah, she is about to be down though, and that is going to be quite a bit before Daisy can return to
here's
the
initiation onto Wicklebear. There is the wild growth keeping him alive, but feels Batman might get bursted down. This is what Gank by Gophers need. Get a kill, get something here! As Redemption barely keeping them alive. Gigabyte getting damage. Ransack Moose picks up the first kill of the fight. Wicklebear barely escaped with his life. Gigabyte jumping onto the backline under 50% is just disjointing Gank by Gophers. They have no team fight because they have no one next to each other. All 5 members are fighting separate. Potato goes down. Everybody goes down. Never Vote Yes has to flash away. There's the blast cone jumping him to safety, but he's the only member to survive. And this is Mankato taking this tournament by storm. This is the finals. This is the bloodbath we wanted to see. And this is maybe Baron for Mankato.
It should be Baron for Mankato because there are no members that are going to be up except for Nova Yes and Wiki. And we have her under 50% on the Gragas, who's pretty tanky with that Lockavar and Solari, is going to be tanking the tower. He is not going to be tanking it full time though until he gets some more health onto himself, as well as these shields coming in from...
Oh, they might not be able to get it. Teleport from Help Me. They're scared off the Baron.
Yeah, and this is where we're going to see that despite the early aggression, actually making our cleanse a little bit better. Now is when that teleport is actually showing off to be much more favorable for himself. Being able to at least put some pressure, even though he doesn't even have 2 items finished, Victor is still always a decent threat, especially when you're clumped up together for an objective such as Baron.
Yeah, especially as his Victor is slowly starting to get his items as well. Ganked by Gophers, they're so far behind, but honestly not really looking like it. They're losing these fights, but they're still providing a lot of pressure on the map. They're getting vision down. They're taking these jungle camps. They're preventing Baron takes. And when you're a team that's playing with a 9k deficit, that's those are the micro wins that can get you back into the game.
Yes, exactly. The longer they can delay this game, the bigger chance they'll allow for their teammates to scale up, which the biggest ones to scale right now are going to be Never Vote Yes and Help Me Spliffy.
Ooh, under 50% jumping onto Wiki. Ransack Moose is following up. Ace in the hole doesn't do quite that much damage. It's a double shield comp.
Yeah, at this point, Feels, Batman, Gigabyte, and Wicklebear are all ahead enough that Spliffy isn't really going to be able to catch up, so the biggest one is going to be putting all your resources into your carries and just hoping that they can at least out-damage people eventually. And just let Spliffy get the gold over time.
Feels Batman and Spliffy are both bot side. Feels Batman again pushing under turret. Spliffy's 2 levels behind. Not enough items. I think Feels Batman might just be able to all in him under turret, and I don't really understand what Spliffy's going to do about this. Yep, Feels Batman just goes straight for the turret. He's going to take it down. Spliffy, you're a little too far forward. You have to use the ultimate to save your own life, but in the meantime, Ransack Moons goes down to Nevervote. Yes, that's 1 kill answered from the side of Ganked by Gopher. Spliffy does go down solo to Feels Batman, though, so Mavericks are able to answer that 1-for-1. Can Ganked by Gophers get more? It's a 4v3 in the middle lane, but they're losing their bottom turret. They're going to have to go back and defend their base.
Yeah, if they don't go back right now, they will be losing inhibitor. It looks like they're already going to be losing that tower, and while they're trying to react to Feels Batman, this gives a lot of opportunity for Mankato to go over to this Baron. They're going to be having Help Me stay at least somewhat close. Meanwhile...
Oh, Wiki getting caught out. The charm lands. Help Me getting knocked away by the explosive cast. This is going to be Baron going to the side of the Mavericks. Not much Ganked by Gophers can do. Maybe answer kill onto Feels Batman. They have Litter Potato and Nevervote, yes, but will it be enough? This Kled is so strong. Daisy, do as much as you can. Feels Batman just surviving for so much longer than he should. What are you doing, Kled?
One more auto attacking. We've gone right back on the Scar and potentially gotten a single or double kill. Meanwhile, that is still a Baron going right onto Mankato. Big thing to note, though, is that their split pusher will not be having the Baron buff, so that's going to be weakening their split push just a little bit. Even though Feels Batman is still so insanely strong, you have to give him the credit for all that he's been able to pull off. This game is just insane.
But he also has Guardian Angel now. So if Ganked by Gophers try to do that same kind of play, trade the map objective to get a kill onto Feels Batman, defend that bottom lane, they got to stay there for so much longer to make sure he actually dies. And when it's a Kled, if they had tried to make that same play while he had Guardian Angel, he would have probably gotten a kill back onto Nevervote, yes. So Feels Batman's going to be such a hard champion to deal with right now. And also, I like the build coming in from this Gragas. They didn't pick up the Ivern, but they basically turned Gragas into a support. He has the Knight's Vow, he has the Locket, and he also has the Tracker's Knight. So he's basically a second support, even though he's not Ivern.
Yeah, that is very true, and while he won't really be scaling up too well with the Redemption, I guess he could with his passive giving him the bonus healing, but it's much better to go the Knight's Vow and the Lock of the Iron Solari, and he still has a decent amount of damage by having that Runic Echoes, I believe. Yeah, that's Runic Echoes.
Ooh, Kagabyte getting aggressive onto Wiki. The charm lands. Gonna get the damage. Jumping onto Help Me, but taking a lot in return. Goes golden. There's the Zonia's Hourglass explosive cast, keeping him alive. Help Me almost dead. He's got to be going down. Feels Batman picks up one. Can he pick up another one? Flash forward for the kill. Spliffy caught out. 1v3. He's going to be going down as well. 3 members now for Ganked by Gophers. Tragically fall. Mankato, they have the mid-turret push. They have Baron minions. They have bot inhibitor wide open, and they're cracking into the base of Ganked by Gophers. What more can they hope for right now? What more can they get?
I feel like there's not really much, because it's going to be 1 inhibitor definitely going down, maybe 2 if they rotate directly to the bottom inhibitor. It looks like they will be. Gigabyte leading the charge, even though he's a little bit low. I feel like he could be poked up by Nevervote, yes, if he's not careful. Never mind, he just got a lot of healing.
There is that double support sustain. Really helps you out there.
Yeah. There's actually no sustain coming in that. That's actually going to be purely from Gigabyte's passive with the Essence Staff to make it so that if you use your Q through a very large wave of minions when you have the passive ready, it's going to heal you for a lot. That's a big thing that people love about Ahri when you go for the split push style, is that if you walk to a lane right after getting massively chunked from a fight, you can easily sustain yourself back up by utilizing that passive.
Really good tool there to know an Ahri player. You do have sustain. It's kind of like Karma. Sometimes you don't realize you can actually sustain in lane if you use your mantra onto your W. Just in lane, it's not great for the poke, but if you're half health, maybe it's worth it.
Yeah.
Fun ways to find sustain.
Yeah, meanwhile, we can see that's going to be placing basically all of their members straight into the top side looking for the next 5v5. In all honesty, with this being a 15k gold deficit, and almost all of Mankato being close to full items, while a majority of Ganked by Gophers are just finishing their second or third item, I really want to know what they think they can do in this next fight. Unless if they go for a pick, Feels Batman getting close to being hit by that Root Caller. You have to be at least a little careful. You don't want to throw.
Yeah, this is the moment where a lesser skilled team might get over aggressive, might push their lead and make a mistake, but Mankato just hasn't been making those mistakes. They've consistently been winning team fights 1-4, 2-4, even picking up an ace earlier. They got the Baron, and now they're rotating around the map again with Fields Batman pushing onto the Nexus turrets. There's just nothing Ganked by Gophers can do to defend this top.
Yeah, they're going to be having to pull at least 2 members to constantly deal with Fields Batman. You have it where you need one person with wave clear and one person defend that person with wave clear. Because honestly, if you send a help me or never vote yes, Fields Batman could just easily jump right onto him and murder them within a second. So you need either literally Potato or Wiki there to defend. But that leaves it a 3v4 at the defending lane.
Gigabyte trying to get aggressive, trying to land those charms. He's been so good at getting those charms in onto the right targets when they need them. Can he keep it up, though? They're trying to siege onto this top turret. And help me, he brought the supers over to the turret. It's good strategy. But now there's the initiation. Ultimate from Varus, ultimate from Fields Batman, jumping onto Nevervote. Yes, Guardian Angel means that he's not the target they want. Charm lands on the helmet. He's going to be going down. First member from Ganks by Gophers. Fields Batman finally goes down. But again, Guardian Angel means they didn't even get the kill. 3 members down from Ganks by Gophers. Make it 4. Is it going to be a clean ace from the side of Mankato? It's clearly going to be the game. There's nothing that Potato can do to defend this Nexus. The Nexus turrets are falling. The Nexus will be soon to go afterwards. And this is going to be game 2.
Oh, not clean ace.
Wickle Bear, come on.
I mean, hey, we saw it in game 1. It has to happen again in game 2 where someone goes for that fountain dive and ends up simply throwing things off. But, as you mentioned, it's going to be game number 2 going over to Mankato. Final score being 16-37.
In a 30-minute game.
Yeah, that is incredibly bloody. That is a kill and a half for every minute.
That is absolutely ridiculous. And this time, Mankato, not only were they winning the team fights just like last game, but they also had control of the objectives. That was what was keeping Ganked by Gophers in the first game. Is yeah, they would lose a couple trades here and there, but at least they had 3 drags. Yeah, they would lose a 5v5 and they would give up 3 kills to get 1, but hey, at least they got Baron. Things like that. Actually, they got Rift Herald earlier. But this time they just didn't have that. Rift Herald picked up by the side of Mankato Mavericks. 3 Dragons picked up by the side of Mankato Mavericks. And also just dominance in these laners. Most of it coming from the top side. The rest of Ganked by Gophers looked pretty strong. Help Me did really well in lane. Nevervote Yes and Wiki did serviceable in lane. But Spliffy just got so bullied out by Fields Batman's Kled that really is what opened up the map. Once he got that top turret, he was roaming everywhere. And Ganked by Gophers just couldn't deal with the pressure.
Yeah, but we do have to say for game number 2, I really feel like the draft for Ganked by Gophers still really stepped it up. They just fell behind in the early game. That is what they love to do. They love to go for that early game. They played aggressive like they were still going for it, but they just simply didn't have the right composition and champions to follow up on that style. So I wonder if they're going to try and fall back onto their kind of like early game style, but ban out those champions that counter the early game, such as the Ivern this time around. Or we may see that this one, or we may see for game 3 that Ganked by Gophers are going to opt for a red side so that they can try and go for a double priority pick for the early parts of the pick ban phase.
And this is the moment where you realize it sucks so bad, but Ganked by Gophers having 1 less ban, they're going to be feeling that going forward into this 3rd game. Not being able to ban out the likes of the Kled or the likes of Darius and the Fiora. I think Fields Batman is the one that they need to shut down because Spliffy has shown 2 games now that he just can't really deal with it. He did better on the Renekton, but when that's banned against him, he just can't really show up and match Fields Batman's pressure. With all that in mind, though, we got to get player of the game. Personally, I'm going to give it to the side of Gigabyte.
I think I want to hold off and just wait for a player of the match rather than player of the game. Just because there have been so many great players that I want to hold off rather than say there's a player of the game for this game, this game, this game, this game. If we go to game 5, there's going to be a lot of player of the games. I'd rather hold off and get a player of the series for this.
True, spicy. I like it. So with that in mind, we're going to take a very short break. Hopefully jump into this next game as soon as possible. Are Mankato Mavericks going to take the clean sweep, or do Ganked by Gophers have anything left in their tank to fight back? Find out in just a few. Don't go anywhere. All right, and we are back for Game 3 of Minnesota LCS Spring Split Finals. Mankato Mavericks have done it. They are 2-0 lead against Gangs by Gophers. They lost against them in the regular split, but now they're showing that they have what it takes to become Minnesota LCS champions. And this is exactly the type of series we were hoping to see. These two amazing teams clash heads against each other and give us one hell of a show right now. Don, I got to ask you, what can Gangs by Gophers do to come back? They had a pretty questionable first game draft. We had an idea of what they wanted to do. It just didn't work out for them. Second game, they kind of were more reserved. They picked up the Ivern, the Nautilus, the Karma, things that can really stay alive for longer. But again, it just wasn't able to get them the victory. So what do we need to see change here?
I think one of the biggest things is that the way that we've been seeing Games by Gophers play all split long is going with this aggressive early game style. They love to play on those very heavily aggressive, heavy damage champions and just snowball from the early game right off the start. But in game one, they went with that style for the picks, but forgot to ban out the ways in which people could kind of counteract that. They left the Ivern open. They tried to ban a lot of the peel-heavy supports, but they still forgot Ivern is a very huge threat that you need to recognize. So I feel like this time around, it would just be far smarter for Games like Gophers to simply ban the Ivern and allow for far more aggressive picks from their side rather than having to try and play along with what Mankato wants.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that they can do is ban away the Ivern and pick a different jungler. Just say, we're not going to deal with Potato having to play Ivern. We're not going to let under 50% play Ivern. We're just going to go in fresh with completely different picks here. Now we're seeing, again, unfortunately, Games by Gophers missing that first ban and not being allowed to use it, rather, due to the disciplinary measures that had to be taken. This really hurts them. They're behind 2-0 in the series. They have to reverse sweep this right now. They have to win 3 in a row if they want that trophy, if they want that title of Minnesota LCS champions. So they got to do something new, something different here. What's it going to be? LeBlanc taken away from Gigabyte once again, constantly respecting that. That's a third game in a row. And Mankato, they're not even changing their pick and ban right now. They were so happy with what just happened last game.
Yeah, I feel like something that they could have really gone with this time around would have been maybe something more like a Victor ban, because while Woody Parker is still known for that, is here you could save the ban for more a second round just to ensure that they won't pick something that's high priority and also high power, but leave out what would be more something that is counteractive to after the Uzi brand comes out. And again, Ivern is still left up, so I wonder if Games by Gophers is going to pick it, or if they're going to go back to their aggressive ways and see if they can rely on their older tactics.
This is such a hard decision for them to make, because all of the top tier supports are on the table right now, and Ivern is as well. They pretty much have to take this. If they don't take this Ivern, it's almost an auto loss, because Mankato will absolutely take it right away with something like the Lulu, something like the Karma. So Games by Gophers, they're trusting Potato. He had a pretty good stat line, highest stat line on his team in terms of KDA last game. So hopefully now the rest of his team can just kind of play around it. Caitlyn, Darius,
No. Now we can see the Renekton pick that up again because it is left on the table. And if they go for the Renekton, that is what worked really well against Feels Batman's Darius last time around. So Spliffy could go for that. And frankly, if they have like a Karma Ivern again, that's going to make Renekton into a pseudo tank.
Very true. I kind of want them to pick a Karma here with an 80 carry, because then they could send the Karma mid and pick up a different support bot lane like the Lulu or the Nami if it's left up. But instead, they take the Lulu. This is exactly what they had to play into for game 1 that was so difficult to deal with. The Ivern and the Lulu. Or actually, no, it was Ivern and the Taric keeping Darius alive for so long.
And this time around, Darius is going to be lacking that, as well as Lulu and Ivern giving so much peel and kiting potential against this Darius. And then you also have the likes of Vladimir being picked up. So Vladimir, I love. You're going to be saying Vladimir in the top lane. That could be a very amazing pick against the Darius because it can out-sustain all of Darius's damage. And if he goes to the Noxing Guillotine, you can simply go untargetable and dodge all the damage in one fell swoop.
He's like, oh, you have a minute 30-second cooldown ultimate? Well, let me use my 20-second cooldown pool and match you for that. So I do like that pick. I would hope it's going top lane. If it goes mid lane, I think that's a pretty questionable position to put the Vladimir when you're blind picking. But I mean, if it's a good matchup in the mid lane, maybe they do that. But I agree. I think it should go top.
Yeah, I do like the Vladimir if they're having it be there for a flex, because we have the Ari banned out this time around, going to be denied from Gigabyte. Gigabyte, who used the Ari so well in both games. This time going to be forcing him onto another champion, keeping the block band as well, though, and we're getting the second rounds of bans right now. Let's see if it's still going to be focused on the mid lane, and it is.
Fizz.
Also Fizz top being banned.
Well, I mean, Darius is already picked up, so I would assume not. Victor taken away. They're not assuming that Vladimir has any chance of going mid, so they want to take away the Victor as well. I mean, Karma not on the table for Woody Parker, Victor not on the table, Azir. What else have we seen this man play in the past? I'm trying to think. Twisted Fate, I believe he's picked up. Vigar, he's picked up. But now Cassiopeia. There's 4 mid lane bans. They do not want Gigabyte to have anything he's comfortable on right now.
Yeah, there's going to be a huge amount of focus bans directly onto Gigabyte. Orianna was still left on the table, but I feel like that's still basically a double support composition for both teams now, because you have the Orianna and the Karma with an Ivern and a Lulu. However, it allows you to have a far more aggressive jungler on the side of Mankato. So let's see what they go for to try and counteract this Ivern.
What? Rakan and Xayah are locked. Is this a Lulu mid or a Vladimir mid? That's the question. It's got to be Lulu, right?
I feel like it's got to be the Lulu versus the Orianna, unless that's going to be a Rakan mid. I mean, could be. But, I mean, hey, it's the first time ever that we get to see the Rakan and the Xayah pop out. I think we didn't see it in the semis. Did we?
We did. We saw... Well, oh, wait. Sorry, Xayah and Rakan?
Yeah, together, like in one team.
We saw them in the...
No, I mean on one team. Like
yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm actually not sure. But what I do like is that we saw Lulu, this exact same play, if that is Lulu mid, Mankato, when they were playing against the side of University of Minnesota Duluth Ram Ranch for their semifinals match, they had a 2-0 advantage over Ram Ranch, and Ram Ranch picked up Lulu mid. That's what they took to try to counter Mankato. So it's going to be a similar situation here of kind of maybe this is the strategy for all teams. If you're behind 2-0 in a series, well, just put Lulu mid, see what they do.
Yeah, I mean, it could still be a flex. We could see Vladimir mid versus the Orianna, because Vladimir versus Orianna is still a decent matchup. And frankly, Lulu, with the high range that she has, could easily bully out the Darius. I just feel like a Lulu top would be far more susceptible to ganks than a Vladimir top. I just don't really know the way that they're planning to play this out.
Yeah, and the question is, do they like the Vladimir into the Orianna matchup? I'm not sure if I would take that over the Lulu. Lulu can keep herself alive fairly decently against the all-in from Orianna. The Shockwave being answered by the Wild Growth. It's just, I think that Orianna does have a chance to win that lane against the Lulu. So it's difficult, but Vladimir is top.
I think the bigger thing to come into play here, though, is that if you want to put the Vladimir top, you're going to want to take teleport on that, and Vladimir is so reliant on having bonus mobility, you usually want to keep Ghost on him, so that's where keeping him mid lane is going to be more beneficial, plus allowing Vladimir to roam from mid lane to the other lanes is going to be far more effective than a Lulu roaming, just because Vladimir, with his Emo Plague and his Tides of Blood, is just going to be doing immense amounts of damage if he roams over to either the bot lane or the top lane. And that is going to be far more effective than the roaming Lulu, as mentioned before. And if you want Lulu to roam, she can still teleport, and a Lulu without a Ghost or Ignite or Cleanse is still just as effective, unlike a Vladimir, who is so reliant on the Ghost.
And honestly, I'm a little happy right now. I got a tear of joy from Gangs by Gophers draft right here. Not only did they manage to surprise me, excite me, and make me a little nervous all at the same time, but they did it in Game 3 of the finals. This is make or break for Ganked by Gophers. They're pulling out all their stops with an incredibly unique team composition that we have not seen. I can guarantee you we haven't seen this composition once yet in this tournament. Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. Also, with the under 50% being on the Zac, the initiation from him, the only difficulty being that anytime you pick the Zac with the Orianna combo, Zac's ultimate is going to knock all members away. Orianna is going to want them all to be together, so you got to kind of time it correctly. Typically, you want to use the Shockwave first before Zac jumps in and gets his initiation. It's tricky to get that timing correctly, but we do see already an ignite on the Lulu mid. This is going to be an aggressive Lulu.
Yeah, I really don't know what they're planning to do with this Lulu mid with Ignite. If you are going for the aggressive play, you'd have to really play aggressive early on. But other than that, one thing I do like about the side of Games by Gophers draft is that on paper, they have an amazing composition just because Xayah isn't exactly a hyperscaler. She is sort of, but not to the hard extent that people such as Kog'Maw or Vayne are, or Twitch, just because she doesn't have the extreme range as the other champions or the very high tank terrain damage that other champions would have, such as those three. But when you add in the Hemo Plague plus the triple support composition that you have right here with the team, you're essentially turning her into a hyperscaling or a hyper carry that is going to be very hard to kill with her on-target ability with her ultimate, as well as the amped up damage from the Hemo Plague. She is just going to be doing immense amounts of work in these team fights unless you can lock her down with the Shockwave, the Let's Bounce, and then just allow Feels Batman to go ham on her. Mainly, I'm wondering, it's just imagine Trigger Seed, Help Picks, and also Rakan Shield. Just imagine all three of those, plus like a Locket, maybe even double Locket on top of that. How big that shield's going to be? That's basically going to be 2 health bars.
Yeah, and Vladimir can keep himself alive pretty well, so all of that should be going over to the Xayah. But keep in mind, this Lulu is going to have to be building AP as well, so she's going to have to be putting out some of that damage. And this is honestly Ganked by Gophers drafting a very different team composition than we usually see from them. Typically, we see them go for that late game carry. The early game. You go for that aggression. This time, they're going for the late game carry. They have the Vladimir, who takes a while to ramp up, takes a while to scale, and Xayah, as you mentioned, most AD carries agree that she's better with Critical Strike if you build into crit. Some do believe that she's better with the Bork build, and that there's still a very good argument to be made for that. So I'm curious what Never Vote Yes goes for. Does he go for the critical kind of later game power spike, or does he try to kind of mitigate that early game pressure so that he can be doing the damage earlier when they might need it against a team composition for the Mavericks? So what's your opinion there for Xayah right now?
I like it. I feel like they mostly just picked him just because they won that triple support and wanted Rakan rather than like a Nami, just so they could have extra shields and some more extra engage potential that's reliable as compared to like the Nami bubble or the tidal wave. And they just felt the necessity where if you're going to have Rakan and Xayah's open, you just got to pick them. It was a little forced, I would say, because I feel like there are still so many better carry options. Ezreal could have been better to offer a little bit of poke, even though he's not exactly the big hyperscaling carry they'd want. Twitch would have been the best option, in my opinion. Although Kog'Maw would have also been amazing, but he was banned, so that's where I think the next best option would have been Twitch, just because he has the immense range, the immense teamfight potential, and could have been doing such hard work overall. But they still have the Xayah, who has decent wave clear. Once she hits that 2-item power spike, if she decides to go for the Blade of the Rune Cane into the Rune and Hurricane build, she'll have great wave clear. But I just simply put, feel like it was not the best option for the team.
All right, potentially one more time. If Mavericks take this, they successfully sweeped the finals away from Ganked by Gophers, but Ganked by Gophers, you still got one more chance here to come back and prove that you're not going down without a fight. Maybe you're not even going down at all. Hopefully we get to hear that Silver Scrape song. I always love it when that happens. But we're loading into this game. Let us know in Twitch chat. I've been slacking, haven't been asking this question, but who do you think is going to win? Hashtag GBG or hashtag MAV. M-A-V, I believe is the correct terminology there. Also, let us know on social media, on the Facebook page, on Twitter at MNLCS. Tweet at me at MNStirButtKick. Let me know how much you're enjoying the show, how much hype this finals match has turned out to be. Really, really fun games, and really going in the favor of the Mavericks right now.
Yeah, we have one last game. I'm still... Okay, the biggest thing I have to mention, though, now that we are in the middle of a pause, is I am so surprised that the game one, they decided to go with blue side. They won that first pick. They give it up. Okay. Game two, Mankato picked red side. Was a little surprised by that because usually people like to prioritize that first pick to get the highest priority champion out there, but it turned out that Mankato was able to get 2 priority champions right off the bat with it just because of the way that the bans went. And this time around, even though Gamespy Gophers have lost twice when on blue side, they decided to still opt for it, which is incredibly interesting. They got the Ivern, but then they gave up Darius and Karma within that first round draft.
Yeah,
Was it Karma or was it Darius and Caitlyn? It was Darius Caitlyn.
It was Darius Caitlyn. The issue is, honestly, if you're on the side of the Mavericks, you take red side every single game going forward, because Ganked by Gophers, they only have 4 bans as opposed to 5. They can only ban out 2 at the very beginning. So that means that, yeah, there's just no way that you need to prioritize a single priority pick, because you can get 2. There's just no way that Ganked by Gophers can take away enough champs that Mankato isn't able to get in and grab 2 that are very strong for their team composition. And this is exactly why it's just so unfortunate that this had to happen this way for the finals. I mean, as a viewer, it sucks, but as a moderator and an official, I mean, you just got to make the hard call and say, like, this is the rules, this is how we are running the tournament, and this is how we want the tournament to be professional, to be a professional scene. It is a Riot-sanctioned tournament, so we need to be able to have that kind of accountability from the players. It just doesn't feel that good when it comes down to this sort of situation where Ganked by Gophers have such a huge disadvantage, but they kind of asked for it in a way, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, and just to clarify, we are Riot sanctioned. However, we are not Riot funded in the sense where our prize pool is given out by Riot. Simply
True.
Riot sanctioned in the sense that we have to follow their terms of service.
Very, very true.
Yeah, but until then, we are still waiting for Wiki to return. He did DC. Maybe it's a secret way of saying that Rakan wants to break up with Zaya.
Oh,
That'd be a little harsh.
Oh,
Hey, it's still not.
So what? Go.
It's still not as bad as breaking up over text. I gotta say that. That's the harshest.
Well, all I'm gonna say is that it's still not as good as the real Tarek relationship. I mean, we saw that game 1. They're trying to give us the new bot lane duo here, but it's just not the same, man. I'm never gonna like it as much.
Yeah, and now we have it where, just based on the starting items, things seem pretty average on both sides. The only thing I will say, though, is from watching a lot of Meteos' play, I can tell you right now that the favorable starting item for Zac is not Talisman, but actually Machete, because the general build that you like to go on Zac due to his high base attack speed is going with attack speed runes, as well as that 5% bonus attack speed from Masteries. And then getting the Hunter's Machete gives you a lot faster of a clear. It's not as high sustain, you won't be healing for nearly as much when you're doing your clear, but the speed of it gives you a lot of extra time to rush at level 3 and go immediately for a gank, which is why it's far more favorable, unless if you're going for a full clear style, which we may see come from under 50% based on his starting item.
Very true. Very true. I wasn't reading the chat at first, but for anybody who wants to go back and watch a VOD, that was pretty funny chat right there. Talking about sports, talking about esports, the best kind, if you ask me. And look at those Mastery 7 tokens coming out here from the side of the Mavericks. Oh my god.
This is an interesting path coming in from the Mavericks.
Never Vote Yes does spot them out, and they are committing to this. Come on, flash over the wall. I know you want to.
Nah, they don't. That would be a huge waste. However, they are looking to see whether or not it's just going to be a trade of red buffs. They get the ward down.
Hey.
And it looks like Literary Potato is going to be staying right there too, right? Take it from Self. If they do not check it, under 50% and Fuels Batman looks like they will be starting towards that side. They will be meeting up with 3 members from Games by Gophers, though.
Very true. Help Me is a little caught out, actually. I don't know if he wants to be this far forward. Potato walks around the safe way. So, again, no Ivern steal. We've seen him played all 3 games now, and I don't think we've seen him get a steal. Wiki getting caught out. You're way too far forward. You're going to have to burn a Summoner's Pool that actually just dashes away and gets the Ignite from Ransack Moose. So, not too bad there on the side. But now, I mean, look at this Ransack Moose. He's got 35 gold advantage onto Wiki. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's also going to be a huge experience lead on the side of Ransack Moose compared to Wiki. But Never Vote Yes will be hitting level 2 far sooner than Wicco Bear. I'm not sure if the level 2 spike on Zaya is that big. She is still a fairly new champion, so I haven't gotten a huge grasp on how she works. I do know Rakan is huge for his level 2 power spike because that's when you have both your knockup and your allied dash/shield. which is when you can go for those big all-in style plays. So I would be expecting them to go for a potential all-in right away to try and deny some of that poke. But meanwhile, speaking of poke in the mid lane,
trades back and forward. The auto attacks from the Lulu and the Orianna. There's the initiation from Wiki, dodging the damage from the Caitlyn. Ransack Moose actually taking a lot there. So Gangfight Gophers coming out to an advantage on the trade bottom side. Potato is already here. He's going to try to blow a summoner spell. Flash away from Ransack Moose. Sidesteps the root and damage onto Wiki and Never Vote Yes. Whoo!
So much of the damage is focused so hard onto Ransack Moose and being able to just walk away, flashing the moment Literally Potato got into range and having the root or the trigger. No, whoops. The root caller missed. I mixed together his Q and his. I mixed together the names of his Q and his E. I said trigger roots. I mean, close. In a way, he did use both, so I guess I was just like closing the gap. But either way, we do have it where due to that gank bot lane, immediately 100% is going over to the blue buff for Literally Potato to go ahead and steal it. He gets it and is going to be walking away. And sadly, it's going to be an Ivern without a blue buff having a lot of mana troubles now.
That is really unfortunate. I mean, you got to expect that, though, when you do show bot lane, that the enemy jungler will be able to be in that position. The only hope would have been if under 50% had been on the bottom side, because he hasn't actually roamed down there yet. All camps are available, but he's still ahead in farm because of that steal, and it's netting him a slight gold advantage over Literally Potato at the moment. We'll see if he can keep that going, because if you can kind of stop Ivern from being able to prep his own camps and prep his own jungle, he can't farm anymore.
Yeah. What I would have loved to see right now, which actually looks like it may be happening, is going to be giving over this blue buff 2 GB since under 50% got the blue buff from Literally Potato, and an early blue buff onto an Orianna during the Orianna versus Lulu matchup is going to be huge. Ooh. It means that Gigabyte is going to be able to stay in lane without having to back and be far
Potato's bot side again. Wiki misses the initiation. Do they commit onto the root, though? No, they do not. Potato just walking away.
He doesn't even throw out the root caller, and hey, guess what? We get to see a grouped up back animation right now if they go for it.
Ooh! Wiki does stop the damage. I think he could have actually gotten through onto that backing animation. Decides to wait.
Maybe just didn't want to. Maybe he didn't want to back that. He is still a bit behind, especially in experience compared to Ransack Moose. Ransack Moose already about to hit level 4, Wiki just hitting level 3, so there is quite a big difference in terms of the supports, and supports really want to rush level 6 as soon as possible. Not necessarily... Oh, alright, got another pause right here.
Yeah, we're hearing high ping issues coming in from Never Vote Yes. I don't know if that's in reference to his own ping issues or from somebody else on the team, but we do see Potato just staying bot side for a really long time. It's going to put him considerably behind, under 50% now, about 200 behind off of this first spec. This Zac is going to have a much higher efficiency out of his first spec. It's going to be difficult for this Ivern to deal with this. He's already lost some control of his own jungle. He's had 2 field ganks bottom side. It seems as if it's just a difficult champion to play when you have this kind of team composition where they're just not able to get those ganks that he's trying to go for right now, and he's also not able to farm.
Yeah, speaking of difficulty farming, though, I'm actually surprised we haven't been seeing that in terms of the top lane with Spliffy versus Fuels Batman. Spliffy being on a champion with range and should be having the ability to try and harass out the Darius, but it looks like they're being able to stay kind of even on farm. And now the wave is actually going to be pushing in towards the side of Fuels Batman, so he'll be able to collect that farm real soon, hit level 5 himself. And I'm just surprised. Typically we see Spliffy as a very aggressive player, and this time around, he's actually not going for that very hard aggressive style and just simply laying it be an even farmed lane.
Yeah, Spliffy, he didn't back. That's why he has this CS advantage right now. So I believe he was probably losing to Feels Batman before this pause happened, because Feels Batman backed and has walked towards lane. He still has teleport. So Spliffy, you're going to have to stay in lane. He's going to have level advantage, though, so he will hit level 6 first, meaning that maybe he can just all-in Feels Batman once that happens. I mean, if Potato's able to just immediately walk top starting now, maybe Spliffy will hit 6 in a prime moment for Ivern to gank. Again, Ivern's not even close to getting Daisy, though, and that's really what you want if you're going to try to go for that under-turret dive. It's a difficult situation for Ganked by Gophers right now.
Yeah, the biggest thing to look out for is going to be the moment that you hit your power spikes. For Vladimir, it's going to be once he hits 6 and gets the Hemoplague. For Ivan, as you mentioned before, it's going to be once he gets Daisy. But right now, he's only at level 3, tied for the lowest level in the game with his own bot lane. He doesn't even have any camps ready to take right now, so you know he won't be hitting level 4 anytime soon, unless if he just sits in a lane and absorbs some experience. But frankly, I don't see that happening just because there is so much counter jungling coming in from under 50%.
I expect him to just take Krugs and then back. There's nothing for him to prep. Maybe he just preps Krugs and then backs, but he does have Smite up, so typically when you're Ivern, you want to use that Smite before you go for your first back, just to get the efficiency. But again, it's a call. It's a call that I'm not qualified to make because I am not an Ivern player, obviously, as everything I say is pretty much just a guess at this point. All I can say is these earlier backs from the more efficient backs, I guess I could say, from the side of Mavericks is really going to help these lanes right now. Feels Batman having the Doran Shield and the Ruby Crystal over Spliffy, and now mid lane Gigabyte. He's not going for the double Doran's ring that Help Me has. Instead, getting the Amplifying Tome and refillable potion. So he's going to have some more sustain in lane, and he also has slightly more AP. I think I'm going to give that advantage to Gigabyte right there.
Yeah, especially because he got that early blue buff. He was able to... I'm not sure if he still has the blue buff. I'll have to double check. He does still have the blue buff, and it's only a third of the way through, so that's actually why he didn't go for the Doran's ring, just because he has so much sustain for the next few minutes. He will be able to simply just sit in the lane and put a lot of pressure. But meanwhile, we can see that there's still a numbers advantage in the bot lane. It's just that information is being given over to under 50%, who could easily try and go for either an aggressive setup towards the mid lane,
Ooh.
or
onto the bottom side. But yeah, this is what we're talking about. You can jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. That's exactly what Rakan brings to the table. As now Spliffy getting initiated on by Feels Batman. This is that item power spike that Feels Batman just got. Spliffy's not quite level 6 yet. Once he reaches that, he might be able to take that fight. Wicklebear taking a lot of damage from Nevervote. Yes! They get first blood! Wiki! What was that damage? The Wombo combo. So many feathers coming out because Zaya's passive says that if Rakan is in lane with her, he's also throwing out feathers at the same time. That was just ridiculous.
yeah, that makes it so that they can have such great synergy with each other, and that's where we can see it really popping out, as well as having where Wicklebear simply was overextended and allowed himself to be caught in that all-in, and he will be reaching bot lane just after most of this wave is cleared, so we'll be missing out on a lot of farm. He is still ahead in gold by just... oh, no, it's tied in gold now between the 80 carries. But looks like Nevervote, yes, is going to be going for the double longsword.
Shockwave on to Help Me. Wild Growth does keep him alive. So it's an ult for an ult. Spliffy, you actually might want to take this fight. Your level 6 Feels Batman just gets it, though. You lost your chance. Double flash from both top laners means that Spliffy does make it out. And I'm curious what under 50% is going to do now top lane. No flash on the Vladimir. He does have pool, though. Still a slippery champion to get on top of, but it's a slightly easier lane to gank now.
Yeah, it's going to be slightly easier lane to gank, but the biggest thing is going to be, as you mentioned, watching out for that pool, because if you go for a dive...
Ooh, more initiation on this bot side. Ransack Moose might be getting caught out. The flash, the root, they're going to get another kill! They land on the trap, but Potato is able to pick up this one instead. Wicklebear tried his best, doesn't even use heal. And that's 2 kills now for the side of ganks by Gophers with no summoner spells burned on the side of Mavericks.
Yeah, in all honesty, you have to wonder, why are you not warding much harder for this Ivern when you have literally Potatoes basically camping your bot lane? You should be expecting him to basically stay there. Yes, it's giving under 50% a lot of time to counter jungle, but it's still giving a lot of pressure and gold over to Nevervote. Yes, who, as we mentioned before, is basically all the focus for games by Gophers right now, since they have this triple support composition with the damage amplifier on the Vladimir.
Potato spotted out topside by a ward. Now Feels Batman's jumping in onto him. But Potato, he's got Moby Boots. He's got stuns, or roots rather. He doesn't even need Daisy to stay alive at this point of the game. But how is he going to even get Daisy again spotted out by some of these wards? Clearing him up this time. Here's some aggression onto Nevervote. Yes, he's so low on mana. Wicklebear and Ransack Moose both have full summoner spells. Wiki might be going down here, but that's the combo. That's what they can do. Gigabyte is roaming bot side. Shockwave available. He's not going to use it on Wiki. Just use it on Nevervote. Yes. Gets 1 kill. Can he get more? Heal comes out from the Caitlyn, but Nevervote. Yes. Can't answer it. Onto Gigabyte. He's so low. Oh, that was so close. Ganked by Gophers. Almost turning it around, but just not quite.
Thankfully, they were able to answer with some kills on themselves and finally get some pressure down into this bot lane. We have it where 1 kill goes on to Gigabyte and 1 kill goes on to Wicklebear, which ends up giving a lot of pressure over towards the side of Mankato, just because we have it where Nevervote Yes didn't get any of those kills from before. It was only assists. Many bits of gold were missed out there, and now they have pressure again in this lane. Or literally, Potato is nearby and ready to try and go for a gank the moment Nevervote Yes and Wiki return.
Still bot side. Daisy's available, but he's not going to commit because, yep, they're too far away. But the reason that happened is because, yeah, they got 2 kills bot side, but they didn't burn a single summoner spell with that. So, unfortunately, Mavericks were still in a very strong position, even though they had given 2 kills to the side of ganked by Gophers throughout that bot side laning phase. And now, again, getting a 1k gold lead. It had evened out, but just because of that play alone, now we see that gold discrepancy yet again.
Yeah, and right now we can see that recently Literally Potato had picked up the red buff is going to be going right over to Nevervote Yes. Unless if Wiki picks it up by accident.
Ooh.
No, oh, it disappeared!
Ah!
Sad, it disappeared just before either of them could pick it up. But
Life.
that would have been a huge advantage in lane over to them just because you could easily poke them down, get the slows, and kite them much more easily if they go for the poke or all-in attempts.
And we'll see what is ganked by Gophers going to do to come back now. They're a little more even than they were the last game. They're actually showing that this bot lane is working kind of in their favor. I mean, unfortunately, Wiki got the first blood. It would have been better on Nevervote Yes. And she is, it appears, going towards that crit build, but also building Ninja Tabi as her first boot item. Try to keep her alive.
But members of Mankato coming towards the bot lane.
Oh, Potato getting caught out, not able to dodge the CC, and it's just chained. He can't even move, cannot even answer that, as now this bot lane is desperate. They know that there's 4 people coming down. They got to make something happen here. They're trying to get the damage onto Wicklebear. They're flashing forward, going for the kills. Now the Zac is on the backside. Oriana didn't quite follow up, but they're getting on to Nevervote Yes. That's another kill for the Mankato Mavericks. If you're a Mankato fan, this is going great for you. Wiki goes down to Gigabyte. Help me is just too low to make anything happen. And this bot turret is going to go down. Well played, Mavericks.
Whew, that was a beautiful rotation over. I'm surprised that after Literally Potato got called out, you didn't have Nevervote Yes and Wiki just simply giving up the tower and running away, knowing that 100% Gigabyte were right there. The fact that they stayed and actually went aggressive was so questionable. Yes, maybe they could have turned around had they gotten the 2 kills on Wicklebear and Ransack Moose, but that is nowhere near guaranteed, especially since they were under-leveled, and you just have to wonder why they went for that.
Well, I think they would have had the kill onto Wicklebear, but Wicklebear had a really well-positioned 90 caliber net. There we go. I was like, what was the caliber net? It wasn't 50. Had a really good 90 caliber net to get away from the ultimate of Nevervote Yes. If Nevervote Yes had just angled it a little differently, I think that absolutely would have been a dead Caitlyn. But that's just something that's so hard to do in the moment, because if he had angled it differently, Wicklebear just would have used that 90 caliber net in a different direction. So I think that we're seeing that this is maybe just not a great matchup for Nevervote Yes to go all in onto the Caitlyn. The Xayah into Caitlyn, again, I don't know the matchups for these champions. They're still very new, but potentially this is a bad one for Xayah.
Yeah, I imagine it would be just because Xayah has such a low natural auto attack range. The best way that she could try and deal damage would be using either her Q or her passive to get those ranged, piercing auto attacks. But at that point, the poke isn't nearly as much as Caitlyn's will be.
Ransack Moose getting onto Spliffy, getting aggressive. Both procs of that Mantra Q doing damage. Feels Batman might be getting caught out here, though, as 3 members of Gameplay Gophers are going down on him. Flashes away from the root. He's able to just walk away. There's not much you can do, but the charm from Wiki means that he might finally go down. They're using so much. Exhaust is in. Can they get him? He's healing up. He's walking under turret. Nevervote Yes wants this so bad, and he's gonna get it. Nevervote Yes. It was worth it. It's always worth it, as under 50% tries to jump on Help Me. Can't quite get it. Spliffy opting for the 1v2 top lane. There's the ignite. The grievous wounds means that he can't heal quite that much, and he's taking so much damage from this Caitlyn. Forced to just kind of back away.
Right there, looking for a potential dive. He has him trapped under tower.
Yeah, and Spliffy cannot back right now, but Gigabyte can't get away either. Pops the ghost, pops the flash, does actually survive. Spliffy, oh, caught between a rock and a hard place. Nothing to be done. Help me, barely outside of that shockwave range. I thought that was a dead Lulu for sure.
Feels Batman teleporting down, looking for a kill onto Wiki right here.
Wiki, there we go! Oh, the dunk master Darius. Keep picking up that kill midair, showing us some style.
Ooh, and here is where we see the true nice guy of the team, under 50%, giving over the blue buff
but
to Ransack moves.
Batman, he's trying to get damage onto Nevervote Yes. Teleport coming in from Spliffy. There's the ultimate again, healed up by Nevervote Yes. The bleed is not going to be enough to get the kill. Feels Batman, no summoner spells available. Don't die, Nevervote Yes. You got to stay far enough away. Spliffy picking up his first kill of the game, under 50%, going aggressive under turret. Has his passive up, does go down, and can help me even get this kill. I don't think so. There's just too much defense from the Mavericks, as they're now caught between two turrets, actually. Spliffy has flash available, but no ultimate means that he doesn't quite want to commit to this. Wicklebear full health, just shooting those autos, just Caitlyn things.
Yeah, real soon we may see... Sorry, 1 second. Make sure we...
I was saying, what are we going to see? I don't know.
No. My screen froze for a second, but I'm saying pretty sure we should see the execution is calling come in from Wicklebear, just to make sure that if he has to go 1v1 or 1v2 against Spliffy, that he can keep some that sustained down, as well as the soon-to-come redemption coming in from literally Potato, and the healing coming in from Wiki as well. This is going to be an immense amount of health regen, and don't forget, there's also the wild growth from Help Me. I almost said Kill Me. From Help Me that will be coming in.
Maybe that should be his name, as he has had 0 kill participation. That's just one of those frustrating games. Just kill me now, please. I've done nothing except for wave clear, and to that extent, still behind in farm against his lane opponent. 2,000 gold behind. Feels Batman might be getting caught out. Again, no summoner spells. You're gonna be going down. Flippy with another kill. What are you doing there, Feels Batman?
Yeah, with the immobile champion like Darius, you don't really want to be standing so far forward. It's just so weird. You're in an unwarded area. You don't even know if the enemy team has wards.
Ooh, Wiki getting caught out. Flashes forward to avoid the shockwave, but there it still lands. The Lulu ultimate can't keep him alive, but can they get anything onto Gigabyte? Daisy is up. Is it going to come down? Literally Potato is holding on to it. There she is. Cannot answer the damage, though. Gigabyte once more. They're going in. Ransack moves under turret. Might die. Is that an execution? It's not. Spliffy picking up that kill. He's in the middle of so many members from Mankato Mavericks. Can he get anything more for this? You're on to under. Oh! He stopped the jump. He came out of the pool just in time to stop Zach from jumping away. Spliffy, oh! Misses all of the belt damage, still gets the kill, but Gigabyte making it a double. 4 in total for him throughout that entire initiation.
Sadly, though, that was not an ace, just because Wiki ended up being able to respond just before the final death happened onto literally Potato, but we have it where tier 2 tower is already being pushed in pretty heavily. It's chunked down, only 30% left, and Help Me also being chunked down equally well. This is where Gigabyte being almost at that 2-item spike is just doing immense amounts of damage on the Orianna.
Ooh, but Gigabyte is getting initiated on. The shockwave only gets 1 member and doesn't get the kill. Nevervote Yes. And Wiki pulling the trigger when they know it matters most. Trying to get the team back into the 7k gold deficit. They gotta make plays like that. I mean, if they play the long game, they will eventually outscale, but they're just losing a lot around the map, and they're losing these team fights now, so making any kind of pick really helps.
They don't necessarily outscale, they just perform better in full 5-on team fights once they can pick up big amounts of support itemization. If they can get the double lock, a double redemption, and just focus everything onto keeping Nevervote Yes alive and making sure he gets plenty of gold and farm, that is when there will be that massive spike. But the big thing, though, is that Gigabyte simply deletes him right now at this current stage, and Help Me has been a little bit more selfish when it comes to utilizing the wild growth and the shields.
And here we go. We're going to see, can they get the Dragon Steel? It is secured by Mankato Mavericks, but they're also up onto the Rifttail. Gigabyte getting a kill on the Potato. He has no MR. Spliffy jumping onto the backline. Ultimate is popped. He's going to get the kill on the Wigglebear. There it is. Help me. Caught between Gigabyte, though. Wild Growth keeps him alive. And this is actually going great for Gigabyte Gophers, but there's the Shockwave turning the whole fight around. Makes it so that Mankato Mavericks, they get 3, make it 4 members of Ganked by Gophers, only trading Wicklebear. Beautifully played.
Alright, and here is the scary part. You know how the entire time we've been having our Feels Batman is constantly trying to go for that split push, but getting caught out and
in the meantime, Nevervote Yes getting initiated on under 50%. Don, you'll get to talk in about 10 minutes after this fight stops, because Mankato, they're looking for blood. They want this to go as long as possible. He jumps in, still under turrets. He's going to be going down. Can he get anything for it? Shut down. Gold goes to the Zaya. Nevervote Yes. That's got to feel good. Finally having an item completed.
And it is going to be an Essence Reaver, not too huge of an item spike, but will allow for far much better mana sustain.
Again, getting caught out. Don, I told you, 10 minutes, because these teams, they want to duke it out. Feels Batman has flash this time. There's the exhaust. He can't teleport away because of the CC coming in, but they're committing so much. In the meantime, Wicklebear's just pecking down this middle turret. Ransack Moose might be able to keep him alive. The 2v3, there's the ultimate coming for Feels Batman. It doesn't get Potato, but the bleed is enough, and this is going horribly for Ganked by Gophers. They're gonna have to back off.
Look at the mid lane. Right now you have Wicklebear sieging down the mid turret at the inhibitor, probably going to be going down in just a second. They are trying to rush over as fast as they can, but this tower is definitely going down before then. They will be able to defend the inhibitor if everyone makes it in time. It looks like they will.
They Wicklebear? They gotta go for it, right? Come on, Ganked by Gophers. You've been running this entire game. Don't let it stop now. I think Wicklebear might have gotten out. Oh! Nope.
Second blast cone.
Come on, that's the support's job. Take away the blast cones the enemy can use, but in the meantime, Mavericks, they have so much vision control around the Baron, but teleport coming in from Spliffy means that they might look to contest. No flash from the Vladimir, but they see that the Baron is being taken. It's got to be going over to the side of Mankato. The Redemption Steal is not enough. Smite misses, but they still get it from the Darius. There's the initiation from Wiki getting out to Gigabyte. Are they going to finally get a kill here? Shutdown goal going on to Spliffy. Under 50% is caught out from the rest of his team. Everybody else running away, but they don't need to save him. They just need to save the Baron. Buff under 50%! Oh, almost makes it away.
Flash by Help Me.
Can't quite make it. Well played by Ganked by Gophers, but Mankato get the Baron.
But look, we still have Wicklebear just in the bot lane, split pushing, taking yet another tower. So yes, that was 2 kills. But Baron plus a tower still went over to Mankato. And I have to say that it's definitely worth it. They're currently 12,000 gold ahead and have hit plenty of powerful item spikes. We have Wicklebear just finished the Ruinous Hurricane with that Infinity Edge. Gigabyte is now at 3 full items, one of them being the Void Staff to negate most of the magic resistance that's being built up by these side of games by Gophers. The Locket, well,
I'm just gonna
soon to be Locket.
I'm gonna tell you some things that are gonna maybe make you throw up in your mouth a little bit. On the side of the 80 carries, Nevervote Yes is 3 or 2,500 gold behind Wicklebear. That's almost a full item. That's basically a static shift. Gigabyte is 5,000 ahead of Help Me right now. 5,000 gold ahead of his lane opponent. That's just ridiculous. And under 50%, 3,000 ahead on Potato. This is just scrappy from Ganked by Gophers right now.
Yeah, this is an immense amount of gold. The only 2 lanes that we really see that are staying close to one another is going to be Spliffy and Feels Batman. Feels Batman mostly because he's staying so focused on being the split pusher, while Spliffy.
Oh, there's the initiation of the Wicklebear. If they get the Caitlyn, this fight is absolutely there. Spliffy get on the backline, but Wiki's going to be going down. In the meantime, Wicklebear picks up that kill. Potato, the Wild Growth is on you. Why that member? As now finally Feels Batman joins the fight. Members falling left and right for Ganked by Gophers, and they just can't win a fight right now. Redemption coming down. Will it keep them alive? Feels Batman can't quite get the damage. Spliffy, no ultimate available. He goes down to Gigabyte. Nevervote Yes. Can you even kite away from the Darius? The answer is no. Potato forced to flash away. This might be game. This might be series. All members of Ganked by Gophers are dead. Baird empowered minions pushing onto Nexus turrets. Wiki, you gotta pull a miracle right now. don't know
I
what
doubt
the
he can do
options
it.
are.
He's the damageless support. Rakan just has 0 damage. The only person who's going to be able to really do anything is going to be Helmy, but as you mentioned before, he only has like 7,000 gold!
Oh, he gets the kill! He trades one back, but Mankato answer with the game, with the series, and with the championships. Mankato Mavericks, congratulations, our new Minnesota LCS Spring Split champions. Really, really well played throughout those 3 games from them.
That was insane. Holy crap, that is just beautiful execution to finish off this series by Mankato. They had it where there was a huge start, getting it where Wicklebear ended up baiting for the team, being able to survive due to the massive amount of shielding coming in from both Gigabytes as well as Ransack Moose, and then just being able to delete Wiki immediately. This is why Wiki is such a risky champion. Yes, he's great for engages and picks, but he is just so squishy where if he doesn't jump out immediately, he is gonna die. And then we see it where Spliffy tries to make the chase, ends up going incredibly low, has to back out, and just everything falls apart right after that.
Yeah, when I play Rakan, I definitely like to get a little tankier than Wiki chose. Ardent Sensor is questionable for me. I mean, I get that, yes, you can heal multiple members if you land your Q, and you can give everybody on your team that extra damage, but I just don't see it being that useful. Maybe in Wombo combo with Azaya, it's really good. But again, yeah, he just died too quickly. He had good initiations. If he had stayed alive a little bit longer, maybe some of those fights could have turned around for Ganked by Gophers. But my God, this series was ridiculous to watch. Mankato, they got the sweep on Ganked by Gophers. Ganked by Gophers went undefeated throughout the entire regular split. They only lost 1 game in the semifinals to Chicken Chasers, and now they lose 3 in a row to Mankato. Congratulations, Mankato. They only lost 1 game also. Mankato has only lost to Ganked by Gophers in the split.
Before we go anywhere else, we have to take a look at the damage chart. Just the amount of damage that Gigabyte did on the Orianna is so crazy. Just look at that. It was a total of freaking 24,000 damage compared to the next highest person in the game being Never Vote Yes with 18,500 damage on the Zaya. And you have to admit, Never Vote Yes played excellently in the early parts of this game, being able to get a lot of highly aggressive plays in the bot lane and get ahead. But simply put, the lead that Gigabyte got was just tremendous. Same thing with under 50%. And honestly, if we're going to talk about a player of the series, it's going to be between either under 50%, Gigabyte, or Wicklebear. I don't want to give it to Wicklebear because while he did have amazing scores and amazing CS, he wasn't necessarily impactful throughout the game. He just kind of didn't die and was able to be the carry in the end. Well, I feel like under 50% had far more consistent play throughout all the matches and was able to help his team snowball early on. But Gigabyte, especially in Game 1 and Game 2 on the Ahri, was able to look for those picks and just play beautifully. But then in Game 3, the moment that the Ahri was banned, they pulled out the Orianna, despite the 4 mid-lane champions banned specifically against Gigabyte.
Ganked by Gophers, they tried so hard to stop Gigabyte, and he shows up huge. Absolutely, exactly what you're saying. Just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I love it way too much. The way that this person has such an immense champion pool that even after 4 directed bans, he still plays so beautifully. And then we also saw it where Ransack Moose, with 4 directed bans in Game 1, was able to pull out the Taric, utilize the Cosmic Radiance beautifully, and be able to play with the Mana Sustain in the early game, where even though his AD carry Wicklebear got hard focused down in the early game with the poke from the Caitlyn, he was able to sustain really well using his heal. And it's just, there was such clean play coming in from Mankato. Game 2, Game 3 were more of stomps in Game 1. Game 1 was really close. But overall, Mankato just played beautifully. And I love how they had that strong mid-game objective focus and were able to prioritize rotating around the map, focusing on the objectives that they need, being able to pull off the baits and the necessary tools to start the fights, and then directly counter the engages that Games by Gophers were constantly going for.
Oh my God, that That was maybe the most fun that I've ever had casting, regardless of the end of like the entire match being 3-0 in favor of Mankato. Ganked by Gophers sure as hell put on a really fun show to watch there. I loved every moment of that game. The scrappy team fights, the scrappy attempts at comebacks. Honestly, that's the word that I can use to describe the whole game is scrappy. But we got to pick an MVP of the series. You said that you wanted to do it throughout the entire match, not game by game. I think that was a great idea. And personally, I am going to give it to Gigabyte. He performed incredibly well on RE games 1 and 2, and then game 3 he had 4 bans against him and still shows his champion pool is just so deep. Is it even worth it to ban against this guy?
Yeah, when it comes to raw play, I would honestly say it's a tie between under 50% and Gigabytes, but including picks and bans, as you mentioned, that immense champion pool, being able to play so well despite having so many targeted bans, I will lean towards Gigabyte along with you. So let's go ahead and give Gigabyte the player of the series to finish off this entire spring split for the MNLCS. It has been astounding, but we have seen it. Where Mankato, a new team to join us this split, was able to completely dominate throughout the entire regular split, and then during the playoffs, take their claim as the true kings of the MNLCS.
And hopefully, this is something they can keep going forward. This is a big win for their school, for their organization, for their team. So congratulations so much. Don't go anywhere on this stream, because I've had requests in the Twitch chat as well as from players and people on League messaging me. Let's do some interviews. I'm down for it, Don. Do you think we can set something like that up right now?
Oh, definitely. Okay, so I will go ahead and talk to the players, see which one of them want to do an interview. For now, Steve, go ahead, give the word from our sponsors, as well as make sure that people know all the full standings, first, second, third place, as well as the teams that are going to be having to make sure they look forward towards the next split to try and get big improvements, okay?
Absolutely. So, thank you so much to Envy. There we go. Oh my god. I got a Challenger Series on my mind right now. Thank you so much, Envade, for sponsoring our show here, helping us out with production. Thank you so much to the players for showing up week in and week out, giving us all this great entertainment that we can watch and enjoy together. Thanks to the viewers. We had a really good gathering on Twitch tonight. Really fun activeness in the chat. That's always really encouraging to see on the side of the production team that the show we're putting on is being enjoyed and watched by people. So thank you for showing up all the time. Thanks to our backline people. Really helping out with production all the time. Mike, you kill it every single night. And now, one more time to go through the standings, the final standings given out for Spring Split. Mankato State University Mavericks taking first place. Ganked by Gophers gets second. Third place, Ram Ranch. Fourth place, Chicken Chasers. That rounds out our top 4. And then after that, due to seeding, we have St. Olaf, McAllister, St. Cloud, UMN Pocket Picks, College of St. Scholastica Pupper Dogs, and Fighting Saints with Winona and Gustavus. Thank you so much to all those schools and all those players for participating in this tournament. And we honestly hope to see every single one of you back for next season so we can do it bigger and better. We have a lot of really fun plans on how to bring up the production, bring up how fun the series is, or the tournament overall. We got a lot of plans for bringing in extra casters from multiple schools, as well as really fun kind of backline stuff. So if you're interested in helping out, message me on Facebook, message me on Discord, shoot me out a tweet, slide into my DMs, anything that you feel like to let me know if you can help us out. And we will have forms of compensation going forward into next season. So if you're interested in making a little money and also helping out with something that we're all passionate about here, let me know and we can try to set you up with something. All of that being said, we have a lot of people in the stream room with me right now, and that's a really fun thing to say. Everybody, round of applause to Mankato Mavericks right here.
Yes, right away. Just give a big congratulations to Mankato Mavericks for their victory in the MNLCS throughout the series. They did an excellent job. With us, we have from the team, it is going to be Gigabytes, the mid laner for the team, under 50% as the jungler, and then we have Ransack Moose, the support. So right away, let's talk to the person that we gave MVP to. It's going to be Gigabyte. How did you see playing throughout this series? What was the biggest thing that you enjoyed? What was one of the most difficult things that you also had to overcome throughout the series?
Um, the most thing that we actually enjoyed doing is, well, I personally enjoy doing is that we knew their mid laner doesn't roam often, which is like it relieves a lot of pressure for you as a mid laner because you can just shove the wave and go wherever you want without him following. So we just used that as an advantage and capitalized on it in games 2 and 3 and took it to victory.
How did that change your play style for game one, though? Because there was a substitute in there. You still picked up the victory. Was it a little more difficult, though, playing into somebody that you had no expectations for?
Yeah, it was definitely harder, especially laning wise, because he mained Katarina, and it's kind of a good matchup against Ari. So he won the lane against us. I mean, against me, and then it was harder for me to help bot lane or top lane with roaming, and we had no clue like how his playstyle is or anything. So it was definitely a harder job. But we won as a we drafted a team fight comp, and we just kept forcing fights over and over, and we won. So that was good.
All right, now next question I'm going to give is to under 50%. How did it feel finally playing Ivern for, I believe, the first time in the tournament, right?
Dude, it felt downright amazing. I think I played it earlier, like really early in the season, but not since then.
Okay.
Yeah. Overall, he's been a very high ban champion. Also high pick priority, especially in the first round of picks. But you're able to get him out. Usually, we see you play those secure champions. We saw you pull out the Gragas and the Zac in the last few games. So how does that differ from the style of Ivern? Ivern and all those champions are still kind of like support style, but he's not nearly as tanky to where he wants to dive in and be soaking up damage. How does it feel going with that different style of play? And do you think that's something you could continue going on forward in the next split?
Yeah, I definitely think Ivern is kind of just the champ that you can play regardless of the meta, just because of what he does. And he's like, it's because he's such a unique champion where he has Daisy, so you basically have a free tank in your team, but then you're also kind of like, you just shield your team and CC as much as you can. So he does something that most other champs can't really do.
Okay. And for a question to the last word that we have brought with us, another specific question. Ransec Moose, so the main thing I want to ask is in game one, we had it where there were 4 bans targeted specifically at supports, and you were left with the final pick. You had it where all the main supports were taken. There was Karma, Lulu, Nami banned. They ended up picking Thresh for themselves, and they even banned out some other of the higher priority champions. You end up going with Taric. Can you explain to us what justified your reasoning for wanting to go with that pick, as well as whether or not you were expecting them to focus you so hard during the bans or not?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to focus me to the bans at all. I actually love it if I get bans. It makes me feel better about myself a lot. But actually, no. I'm actually a Braum and Taric. I was Braum and Taric main last season, and I've only just actually recently started playing the support, poke, mages, and peel supports. So going into this game plan, we knew that Gank by Gophers was extremely aggressive early, especially with the bot lane focus. Potato loves being bot lane, and we knew that, and we were actually going to pick Taric or Braum. That was the game plan. We were gonna let them pick anything else. We're gonna pick this because we were going to play for that mid game rotational team fight kind of thing. So when they banned out the 4, we were actually kind of overjoyed because those were 4 wasted bans. And it was so picking the Taric, it was actually, it just worked out perfectly for us.
Okay, and Steve, do you have any questions for the individual players, or should we move on to team-wide questions?
I am all done with individual. Well, okay, I'm going to give a shout out. Ransag Moose, I totally understand your pain as a support. Really hard to stand out, so I'm sorry. You did great. We gave MVP to Gigabyte, but you did great, man. Don't worry. That wasn't lost.
No, it's my team knows what I do. That's the thing, is that the problem with support is that once you get to a certain point, what you can do, unless you're playing an extremely flashy champion like, say, Thresh, or, I mean, even Karma to an extent, unless there's the champion does those flashy things, a lot of the strength and support comes from just being, it's really small, little minor things. Like if you're playing with a Braum and they had Stoneborn, you as a spectator, you wouldn't really notice that healing. but I guarantee you the ADC does. So my team's give me MVP every now and then, make me feel better about myself so I can sleep at night. So I mean, it's all good. For these games, definitely, I feel like Ollie and Gigabyte and 50% were definitely controlling the game, and they were everywhere. So yeah, I don't need an MVP.
All right.
It's very humble of you and beautiful to hear that you are able to support your team like that, and they can also support you. It's always amazing to see the support get love even from their own. All right. So this next question I'm going to direct at both under 50% as well as Ransack Moose, and it's going to be a question as a general opinion that we can give to our audience on how the jungler and support for the team that won the finals feels about the upcoming midseason patch that we'll be having tomorrow. Just because the reason why I'm asking the jungler is support is having quests added to the item changes, as well as a huge change to the way in which resistances are. So they'll have to be potentially focusing a little more investment into health with the early items rather than resistances. And jungle, because obviously the 3 rework champions are mostly going to be tuned towards jungle now, as well as plenty of tanky jungle items, which, as we mentioned before, under 50%, from what I've seen, you love to play those tanky or more heavy engaged champions.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about some of the champs that are being changed. I mean, Zach, obviously, I like to play. I've played him for a while now, so he should be really cool, especially his Q. I don't know. Seems really interesting. But we'll see how it goes. It's still hard to beat out early game pressuring junglers, regardless of how strong the tanks are, but we'll see.
All right. How do you feel about the new tank items that are coming in? The Gargoyle and the Stone Helm. So one of them makes it so that it's easier to deal with people like Cassiopeia and also Bran with the consistent damage. And then there's also the Gargoyle Helm, which gives you a ton of bonus health and a ton of in-fight durability while you're waiting for cooldowns to return.
Oh yeah, those items. I mean, the damage over time one seems really hard to use. Like you have to have really specific enemies. But the other one seems kind of insane. I guess I haven't looked at it that carefully, but from what I've heard.
All right. And
Okay, let's get into. I just want to slip it up a little bit here.
Okay.
Change the direction into something a little less concentrated on the next patches and more concentrated on you guys as a team. I just got to ask. From all 3 of you, I wish that all 5 members were in here. Maybe they can join in a bit. But how does it feel going from undisputed in the top 2 to now proving that you are the top? Like, it's not that it's you and ganked by Gophers. It's just you now because you beat them and you won the championship. So what is that like for you as a team right now?
Honestly,
I think it's... Go ahead.
It's mostly like our playstyle is better in more than one game. Like best of ones can go really either way, and then once you know your opponent's like champ pools and playstyle and everything, you can adapt really well, and then you can just outshine in a series.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy we lost the best one because A, it like kind of took the pressure off, and B, it also like after that game we were like, okay, we pretty much know what these guys do now. So I don't know. You just have to keep playing against them, and then you kind of know what they do eventually.
Yeah. For the it was really difficult because in a lot of Ganked by Gophers games, just because of the way that they play, it's extremely leaning in their side in a best of 1 because they are so aggressive early, and it's so difficult if you get behind to come back. And if you're not expecting that, it's really hard to do that. And they did that pretty much every game. So it was really hard for us when we finally got to go against them, for us to be, because there wasn't a lot of games that went past, say, like 25 minutes or so. So we weren't able to see the point that we, as a team, would have gotten to. So we ended up following the same trap of getting shut down early. So it definitely what Alex just said, us losing, let us be like, we get all right, okay, we know for sure what happened. We played against it. We know what we can do. It happens to us a lot. We actually had a lot of issues with that before when we played for ULaw, and it's just something that we've been working on, and we were lucky enough to get the chance to play against really good teams in the semifinals and the quarterfinals. And those, I mean, if you watch, those games weren't stomps or anything. They were really close. Like it was honestly, one team had an upper advantage, another team had the upper advantage. It was never just one team just going down the line. But Yeah, it feels good. Other than obviously the little mishaps, me personally, I feel like us as a team, for sure, we would have won regardless. But I just still feel that if both teams were at their best, we would feel a little bit more better about it. But a win is a win. So.
Well, I appreciate the thought of understanding they're coming from a difficult position that they put themselves in, but regardless of that, you deserved that win. You absolutely performed incredibly. So congratulations, guys. You're our Minnesota LCS Spring Split champions. What do you think that's going to mean going into next split? Are you hoping to make it a two-peat?
Dude, totally. Back now, though, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, Don, any final words you want to ask these guys before they head out?
Biggest thing is as always with the MNLCS, at the start of the split, everyone is always new to playing on the teams. It seems like you guys have a bit of a background with each other. So how did that really affect your kind of style going into this tournament? And do you think you guys are going to be staying teammates from this point forward? How does it feel playing in this team cohesion style?
We had the same. Well, we had the same 4 other than top lane last semester, so we've had like a full playing in CSL and stuff, C-Star, whatever. So
Collegiate Star League.
It's been nice having the same team. I mean, obviously, we take it a lot more seriously than some people might want to. I mean, not everyone can commit as much. So
Yeah.
I know, like, when we were talking to Gustavus guys, like, they had problems all season just trying to get the same 5 guys. Stuff like that, it makes it a lot harder. So, I mean, maybe people will practice all summer and then we'll be middle of the pack. Who knows, you know?
Yeah, that's a perfect response, and one that I love to hear whenever teammates enjoy playing with each other. And I've been playing with each other for quite a while, but that is going to be wrapping up this interview. Want to go ahead and send us off, Sir Buttkick?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys, for being on here. You had a great split, great entertainment provided for us, because honestly, like, it's just a treat to watch you guys play. Anytime I see Batman on Darius, 50% on the Ivern, the LeBlanc picked up, those kind of spicy champions that are really flashy. It's always a good show. So thank you so much for competing with us here, and can't wait to see you guys next split. Thanks everybody who stuck around for this interview portion. You're the real MVPs of the split. I'm giving it to you, the fans. That's right. I have that authority. And on behalf of everybody from MNLCS, there we go. First try. Just thank you so much for stopping by and checking out our show. Be back next fall as we have a full new tournament set up with hopefully, again, the same teams, but maybe some new players because there'll be new freshmen coming in and seniors graduating. So stick up to date on Facebook throughout the summer, and we'll see you next split.
Said he wants to go for it. And all he wants to do as a Darius
is topside as well. Daisy comes out. They start the initiation, but this is a tanky Renekton. Can they actually take him down? Guillotine is up. There's the dunk. It doesn't get the kill as Flippy picks up one out of a lot of kill participation, or any for that matter. Still so strong at the moment. There is the initiation. There's Daisy coming down. And a flash from Nevervote Yes instead of taking the lantern. That doesn't feel good as a support. Exhaust onto Ernst as Gigabyte jumps on the backside. Now jumping onto Nevervote Yes, gets the kill. Death sentence avoided. Looking on the backline, but it's a 1v3 on 50% dropping. That redemption target bolt coming in as well. And this fight is a bloody mess. Flippy forced to flash out. It's a 4v5 right now, and ganked by Gophers just can't take this fight anymore. They're going to be forced to back off.
I am honestly so surprised. Here's Ben, and he had the 5 stacks running to Slippy. Why not? Flash
But it's
forward.
still there on the wiki. He's able to flash the 5 situation. Now it's a 5v5. A lot of engagement. Death sentence onto Gigabyte. Do they go for it? They get Gigabyte forward, but Wiki might be the first to go down. Still, Batman gets 1, gets 2. That's a double for the Darius. Tarek ult makes him go golden. He's invulnerable. He wants more. Oh, and that's a triple for the Darius. That's the reset on the ultimate. Can he get more for this? Is that the triple? Oh, I mean the penta. Just a quadra though. Oh,
Yeah, Quadra is still. Before that, though, it hit the tower going down.
Might be a fight as well. Daisy is popped over the wall. They're jumping onto Potato. They're looking for the initiation. He can't even take the lantern, but he does get it out. Turret still falls down. And Mankato are so strong. There's just nothing Ganked by Gophers can do. Maybe jump out of field. Batman, they're committing 4 members to it, but in the meantime, Ernst goes down to the side. Gigabyte jumping out of the backline. There's the target ultimate. Ganked by Gophers, you're gonna lose this fight. There's 1, there's 2. Flash flashes away under their Nexus turrets. Oh! And Kato are following them. Double kill for Winklebear, and this might be the game. Minions are on the Nexus turrets. 5 members against 2, making 5 members against 1. No, okay, they don't get that.
The game. There is no way they're going to survive. Oh, wait.
Oh, they're able to get Fields Batman, but it is Nexus Inhibitor, rather, going down. And oh my god. He's going to be going down. First member from Gank by Gophers. Fields Batman finally goes down, but again, Guardian Angel means they didn't even get the kill. 3 members out from Gank by Gophers. Make it 4. Is it going to be a clean ace from the side of Mankato? It's clearly going to be the game. There's nothing that Potato can do to defend this Nexus. The Nexus turrets are falling. The Nexus will be soon to go afterwards. And this is going to be game 2.
Oh, now clean ace.
Bear, come on.
I mean, hey, we saw it in game 1. It has to happen again in game 2 where someone goes for that fountain dive and ends up simply throwing things off. But, as you mentioned, it's going to be game number 2 going over to Mankato. Enemy team has wars.
Wiki getting caught out. Flashes forward to avoid the shockwave, but then still lands. The Lulu ultimate can't keep him alive, but can they get anything on the Gigabyte? Daisy is up. Is it going to come down? Glitter Potato is holding on to it. There she is. Cannot answer the damage though. Gigabyte once more. They're going in. Rantag moves under turret. Might die. Is that an execution? It's not. Flip picking up that kill. He's in the middle of so many members from Mankato Mavericks. Can he get anything more for this? You're on to under. Oh! He stopped the jump. He came out of the pool just in time to stop Zach from jumping away. Spliffy. Oh! Misses all of the belt damage. Still gets the kill. But yeah,
Enemy team.
oh, we're gonna see. Can they get the Dragon Steel? It is secured by Mankato Mavericks, but they're also up onto the Rifttail. Gigabyte getting a kill on the Potato. He has no MR. Spliffy jumping onto the backline. Ultimate is popped. He's gonna get the kill onto Wigglebear. There it is. Help me. Caught between Gigabyte, though. Wild Growth keeps him alive, and this is actually going great for Gigabyte Gophers, but there's the Shockwave turning the whole fight around. Makes it so that Mankato Mavericks, they get 3, make it 4 members against by Gophers. Oh, we're gonna Caitlyn, this fight is absolutely there. Split to get on the backline, but Wiki's going to be going down. In the meantime, Wigglebear picks up that kill. Potato, the Wild Growth is on you. Why that member? As now finally Fields Batman joins the fight. Members falling left and right for Gank by Gophers, and they just can't win a fight right now. Redemption coming down. Will it keep them alive? Fields Batman can't quite get the damage. Slippy, no ultimate available. He goes down to Gigabyte. Never vote yes. Can you even kite away from the Darius? The answer is no. Potato forced to flash away. This might be game. This might be series. All members of Gank by Gophers are dead. Baron empowered minions pushing onto Nexus turrets. Wiki, you gotta pull a miracle right now. Don't know what the options are.
Damageless supports. Rakan just has 0 damage. The only person who's going to be able to really do anything is going to be Humpy, but as you mentioned before, he only has like 7,000 gold.
Oh, he gets the kill! He trades one back, but Mankato answer with the